The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
The ball sends it over to Edward Robles. Goal! Insert name FC! Let's go! Insert name FC! What is up, everybody? My name is Hector Flores, host of the Insert Name FC podcast, a member of the Belly Up Sports Media Network. You can find us on all things podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, or I don't think Pandora's a thing anymore. Anyways, anything you get your podcast fix from, you can find us there at Insert Name FC. You can also find the full video version of this podcast on Belly Up's YouTube channel and, of course, on Golz TV. Now, Insert Name FC does, in fact, have a YouTube channel, and that is on Insert Name FC. So what we do with the full video version of the podcast, we actually break them down into shorter segments, and we post it there on the YouTube channel. So it's a little bit more not adjustable, a little bit more digestible for people. But episode 214, I think it is, 214. Jesus Christ, we're at 214. Episode 214. I don't know why I'm losing a train of thought here. Edward is back for this episode, so once again, Edward is not available in this episode, so that means next week we won't have Edward. But we talk about right now the home stretch, maybe a bit late now at this point, because I think a lot of the standings have been very much set in place to some extent. Now, just for you guys to know, we did record on April 13th, so obviously things are going to change. Wherever the standings we had at that moment, that's where we were. But just so you know, just in case you guys are kind of, hey, this seems a bit off, it's probably because of that. So we recorded on April 13th, and even if you watch the video version, you'll see the date that we recorded it on. So in case people are probably like, hey, wait, this is off. Well, at the time it wasn't, but yeah, so there's that. So we'll be looking at the league tables for the Power 5 leagues, obviously Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, La Liga, English Premier League. So we'll look at those tables and see if there's any storylines to follow in these last coming matches of the season. So there's that. Of course, episode 8, the final episode of MLS Onside. We will be reviewing it with Jose Tellez of Golz TV. Also, you can watch the video, which is I don't know why I forgot that. The video version of this podcast, and of course the video clips, will be available on Golz TV. GLZ.TV is a great streaming platform, all things soccer content that's here in the U.S. So go ahead and check that out as well. But Jose Tellez, he is the creator of the creator of Golz TV. So we'll be recapping the final episode, episode 8, which does cover the MLS Cup, the 2024 MLS Cup. So we'll talk about that. We'll see how all our thoughts on that episode, and we'll also not recap. We'll kind of give you guys our overall thoughts of the entire series, things that we like, things that we hope to see for next season, if there is a next season, and we'll also give you guys our rankings of the episodes. So be ready for that part. Give you guys players of the week, give you guys some games to look forward to this coming weekend. And there is going to be a closing segment. So me and Edward, we had this kind of conversation. It was inspired by a comment on a Golz on the latest Box to Box episode of Golz TV, which was this conversation of, for the American fans that support clubs over the pond, and is it glory hunting, and it would if maybe if things were more accessible as it is now, would we be the fans of the same teams that we would be fans of? Do we think it's weird when people from overseas support teams here in the U.S.? Obviously, like the American sports teams, do we find that weird? Things like that. That's what something that's going to be discussed, and of course, wrap the show up in a pretty little bow for you. This is going to be a little bit of a lengthier episode, I think. So we'll see how all that transpires. But yeah, that is episode 214. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Hopefully, a really good episode for you. So enjoy. Let me tell you guys about Belly Up Sports. Belly Up Sports is the internet sports bar. Go ahead and check out their website, www.bellyupsports.com, to read some great articles from great writers all across the country, from hockey, baseball, golf, soccer, you name it. Belly Up Sports is the premier, not your average website. All right, so I'm just going to edit a little bit on this part. This was a conversation that initially started with Edward. Really, no offense to Edward. There's nothing against Edward. I just don't think he really cared too much for the topic, so I don't think he really wanted to talk too much about it. So I think that's the real reason why. So because that, I'm actually just going to cut it from the episode, just in general. But I went on a rant. Essentially, I went on a rant about U.S. sports media and the real stem from it all. What caused me to kind of go into this uproar is kind of my frustration with just the laziness of some U.S. reporters, especially when you're going to a press conference for a soccer team or football team or football team, depending on how you feel. But the reason why, so not that it's not that long ago, Javier Mascherano, coach of Inter Miami, he was having a press conference, and someone, I guess, when as he was answering questions about game preparation, how he rotates the squad, things like that. I didn't listen to the whole press conference, but obviously I got this clip because it went very viral.
Michael Jordan, LeBron James.
I don't like too much basket, so I will not be there.
Someone asked Javier Mascherano, a guy that has played in clubs like Liverpool, Barcelona, Argentina, was not part of Argentina's World Cup team, but still has played in Argentina, also has played in World Cups, Copa America, all those things. Football player, asked him the question of LeBron James or Michael Jordan. And like, I get it it's a common argument that's made here in the U.S. Like, who's better? Is LeBron better, or is Michael Jordan better? Like, the arguments, which to me, I think it's a very pointless debate, because the fact is, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer to it. I mean, if you grew up on LeBron James and you witnessed LeBron James, now there's people that did get to watch both LeBron James and Michael Jordan. And there is some people that grew up to watch both, and there are people that generally do pick LeBron James. I don't think it really matters at this point. It's just a matter of opinion. I think LeBron James is a great player. I'm not taking that away from him. Michael Jordan was an icon of an era, So, I mean, I'll pick Michael Jordan, but LeBron James is definitely worth the conversation. It's the same thing as the people that are trying to, oh, you like soccer? Do you like Messi or do you like Ronaldo? I've told people plenty of times that I think I'm just lucky to say that I got to witness two elite players in the game. Because, I mean, when you think of Pelé was, in his own period. Same thing with Diego Maradona. He was in his own period. The guys that were viewed as the best in the world at that time, in this era, we got to, well, at least now it's kind of over, but we got to witness Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi dominate this game to the point where, some people, some people view Neymar as an afterthought. I don't. But people view Neymar as an afterthought. We have people that, there's names that you probably won't talk about because of the fact of Messi and Ronaldo. Yeah. The likes of Sergio Aguero, the likes of I think Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a little bit different. I think he kind of puts himself in the conversation, even though he's not really in the conversation, if that makes any sense. But you love him. But, like, that's my whole point, is just we're in an era where we get to watch these two great players. But that's not the whole point of this conversation. But like, yeah, U.S. sports media, I think it just goes back to the whole thing of like a lot of Americans feel that the world revolves around the U.S. and the U.S. is, whatever's going on in the U.S., that's what everybody's watching. And the reason why I talk about that, because not only do you have people that ask dumb questions like that in soccer press conferences, but then you have the whole Shohei Ohtani thing, which, by the way, I think Shohei Ohtani is a rare breed. It's something that we're probably never going to witness ever again. A guy that can hit and pitch. It's just iconic. Like there's, like this guy, the last guy to be able to do both positions well was Babe Ruth, which has been looked as an icon in baseball. A lot of people speak of his legend of Babe Ruth. And that's kind of what we're witnessing right now with Shohei Ohtani, a guy that can hit and pitch at very good levels and, almost elite level if you want to argue, depending on how he does with his pitching. I still haven't watched him pitch, but I'm just saying, like, this is it's just one of those never before seen kind of things. And I think I think it's cool. And I think he's worldly recognized. I think it just depends on the world. Baseball isn't as part of the world of sports is not necessarily up there. I mean, Japan very much, Japan and countries that like baseball. So like, like the Caribbean, teams in the Caribbean, Latin America, people that know, the countries that know of baseball, of course, they probably see that, they're excited to go see Shohei Ohtani. And then once again, of course, the Japanese market, I would even say Asian market as well, to see a player from that region being able to showcase in the best league in the world when it comes to baseball. I think it's cool enough, but once again, another American reporter, another American sports analyst saying that, that he's the most recognizable player in the world, and he's not. Like, I mean, Shohei Ohtani, once again, as amazing as he is right now, he's just not touching Messi. Messi, once again, whether you feel, and even he's not even at Ronaldo's level. Like they're just not. Internationally, it is going to be players that play in soccer, racers from Formula One, combat sports guys. I would imagine are probably a little bit higher up as well, because I think combat sports is very much universally accepted. I'm just saying, as far as like everyone would agree, like most people would agree, combat sports is probably the one where they're like, they don't say, oh, boxing isn't a sport. That's what I mean. Or MMA isn't a sport. I think most people generally agree across the world that like, hey, this is a really cool sport, and I say that because of all the international fighters that we do get to see in those kind of sports. So that's what I mean by it. But those are probably more world recognizable. But if you look at those Forbes lists or whatever list that they have about most well known, most followed athletes across the world, you're gonna see Lionel Messi. I don't know if he's number one. I am assuming he's number one, but he is definitely up there in that conversation, along with Cristiano Ronaldo. I would say it's maybe someone from Formula One. I kind of want to say Lewis Hamilton, but I could be wrong on that part. But like the more international, I'm sure there's some cricket players that are more world renowned that, once again, Americans don't really know too much of, because there's not really a cricket following here in the U.S. There is a small niche for cricket, but it's not remotely there. It's not as I guess it's not as huge as it is for like here, like soccer is here in the United States. But I know for a fact cricket is very popular worldwide. Same thing goes for rugby. Well, I think rugby is probably a little bit more popular versus cricket in the United States, but once again, still not as recognizable in the sport. But like I said, I just don't see. Maybe Shohei Ohtani appears on the list. Maybe he's on the top 10 list, but I just don't see it. Once again, I'm not pulling up the list. I'm not going to do that. But it just comes from the arrogance of just Americans thinking that their sports is what everyone cares about, and in reality, it's not. It's not for a fact. It's funny when I look back at that stupid clip of everyone getting mad at me and Kelsey, because Kelsey said, little brother in soccer, big brother and everything else, and everyone just immediately started shitting on the NBA, started shitting on baseball, started shitting on hockey. And I get it. I totally get it. But the reason why I'm just pointing it out right now is just it's the arrogance of some people in American sports, and it's hard to be an American sometimes because of that arrogance and that blindness to what the popularity is in soccer. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, it's something that I deal with even now, even in my everyday life when, I try to hype up this sport and maybe I had to check if the mic was on. Maybe it's not as well followed, So, so that was my rant. And then also it has really nothing to do with soccer in general, but the people that think that LeBron James, his accolades are more impressive than Alex Ovechkin, who plays hockey, surpassing Wayne Gretzky, I think is insane. That dude literally plays on the hardest surface to play a sport on, and also had to surpass a record that hasn't been touched in years. You're talking about consistently playing in the most physical sport on the hardest surface to play on, and that guy did it and surpassed the great one, Wayne Gretzky. So while LeBron James does things that are spectacular, and yes, basketball is still is a very much a respectable sport, it's just to try to compare basketball to how physically demanding hockey is. I just don't think it can even be argued. But anyways, so US sports piss me off. US sports media pisses me off from time to time, and I just wanted to have that rant. But anyways, we'll go ahead and segue into me and Edward talking about Ligue 1.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
All right, guys, we have a lot to talk about because maybe we should have probably done this like a lot earlier. Maybe when the month started, but hey, we don't do things conventionally. Obviously, Edward's here. This is the every other episode, and this is Edward's episode.
So, yo, what is up, guys?
So we're gonna look at the final stretch of the leagues. The leagues are basically we're very much at the end of the season, and which I mean, if for us here at Insert Name FC, now that we're actually getting a break, that's great for us. But yeah, Edward, I mean, this year in football, soccer, whatever the hell you want to call it, how would you? What's the word you want to use to describe it?
For this year so far,
yeah,
unpredictable. To be honest with you, I've been getting surprised here and there. Small teams making it big, and then later on actually taking down the big teams.
Yeah,
it's been happening. It's been happening a little bit more often than I thought.
Yeah, I think this year we're seeing a lot of teams that maybe we wouldn't expect it to be in the positions that they're in, but we'll get into it. Ligue 1. So as of right now, April 13th. I just want to reiterate that part. April 13th. Here we are right now in the standing. So teams that are more than likely facing relegation is in 16th place, Le Havre with 27 points, 17th place, Saint Etienne with 24 points, and in 18th place, Montpellier with 15 points. Montpellier is definitely getting relegated. And I think the same thing for Saint Etienne. Now there is some hope if you're Le Havre, because, which by the way, if you guys don't know, in Bundesliga and Ligue 1, both these leagues, if you're in 16th place, you get a play-in game, so you have to play against the third place team from the second division to stay in Ligue 1 or you get relegated. So at least they kind of have that going, but they are like 3 points behind Angers and Nantes. So I mean, there's at least some hope there if you're Le Havre, if you can try to finish out your year. Which I mean, once again, it's like maybe 4 or 5 games left in the season at this point. So maybe you're kind of grasping at straws at this point, unless you hoping to maybe face Montpellier or Saint Etienne. But my bad, Nantes or Angers. But anyways, so that's the teams going in relegation. Obviously, these are teams Edward's not very versed in the French league, so I'm kind of trying to pass that up real quick for his sake. But when it comes to European qualification, so Nice is in that 6th place spot with 48 points. Europa Conference League. That's all I gotta say. 5th place is Strasbourg, which is the Europa League spot that has 50 points. In the Champions League right now, we got 4th place Lille with 50 points, which 4th place is kind of like an asterisk because they have to play in the qualifying for Champions League. So maybe that's a Champions League spot, maybe that's an Europa League spot. Just depends how that whoever finishes in fourth gets there. Marseille's in third place right now with 52 points, and in second place is AS Monaco with 53 points. And just also pointing this out, Edward, you have Brest in eighth place with 44 points, and Lyon in seventh place with 48 points. So they're not that far away from maybe trying to get into that Europa League, more Europa Conference League. But that fourth place spot is not that. It's still kind of up for grabs. Even Monaco, Marseille can still drop off as well.
Yeah.
That's really the talking point because PSG they already won Ligue 1. They have already won it. They got 74 points right now, and the only thing that they have left playing for is just the shot to be undefeated.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I mean, like that's
basically a shot to be undefeated, score more goals, see if they can actually not concede any more goals as they, just try to build up their stats. That's all there is.
Yeah, and I'll also actually correction right now because I wrote these where they are beforehand, but right now, as a matter of fact, as it's updating because Lyon's currently playing Auxerre.
Mm-hmm.
Lyon is actually up 2-0 right now, so they are now in fourth place.
Okay.
So it's now fourth place Lyon, fifth place Lille, and sixth place Strasbourg, and Nice is now outside. But once again, it's really just anybody's game from second all the way down to eight might be a stretch, but seventh is definitely like where things can shake up here in these final days.
Yeah.
And obviously PSG they won. Question. Okay, so this was a topic that me and Kelsey had when we were talking about the halfway point. Is this impressive at all by PSG? I mean, yes, it is. This is funny because I'm wearing a PSG jersey right now. Is this at all impressive?
I mean, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, and we both know this. We know that Bundesliga and the Ligue 1, they're, and I really hate to do this, but we both know that they're farmers leagues, even though we know that, I mean, when it was the last time that Monaco went up top? When was the last time that Lyon went up top? Marseille went up
Lille
top.
was a few years ago.
It was a few years ago, yeah. But it's like PSG is always the majority. It's always on top. It's always a majority. Like PSG is always there. PSG is always number one. PSG is always there. I'm like, it's not a surprise. It's kind of like Bundesliga. Same thing. Bayern Munich, first place most of the time. Like they're always on top. Even during this, except for last year, But it's just, you know what I mean? Like it's just
I get what you're saying. I mean, I think also to take credit, I mean PSG right now are still in contention for Champions League. Actually, I think I think they're up 3-1 right now against Aston Villa. Obviously, when this episode drops, that kind of maybe they're not, but because already the second legs have already been played. But no, yeah, you're 100% right. I think still going undefeated is still not an easy test, regardless of the league that you're in. Like you're going to be set to at some point, face just a moment, right? But yeah, like I said, they are by the time that this video drops, they've already played Aston Villa on that second leg. They have Le Havre, next week. So I mean that's pretty much it. But no, yeah, that's pretty much it. Is that really the last day of the season? Last game of the season for PSG? There's no way. No, okay, yeah, no, okay. They got Strasbourg, and then they have so they're basically playing all the bad teams in their final stretch of games. So I guess maybe it could happen. So it could happen, man. PSG could go undefeated. I mean, last year we got to see Bayer Leverkusen almost win undefeated in all competitions until obviously the Europa League final, which they got beat by Atalanta. But look, man, I think regardless, it is impressive that they have been undefeated in Liga. And I mean, yes, it is the Farmers League. It is the league that PSG is going to be winning. It's their league until someone can step up. But I mean, it's still impressive. I mean, this is probably one of the better PSG teams. I think a lot of us thought that when they lost, Neymar and they lost Mbappe, that this team was going to look completely different. And, they haven't. Dembele, a lot of people are saying this guy should be up there for the Ballon d'Ors because he's not. But, like he should be up there for the Ballon d'Ors discussion. I don't know. It's an interesting year. I think respect to Luis Enrique, like he's been able to keep these guys in focus, and doing well in Ligue 1, and obviously right now, in hopes of being in the semifinal for the Champions League.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, uh, I mean, you you pretty much explained it more
Yeah.
than what my knowledge.
No, I get that. I get that, but it's still. But you're right though. It is Ligue 1 to some extent. But all right, moving on to the Bundesliga. So teams in relegation right now are in 18 place. We got Holstein Kiel with 18 points, so they're definitely getting relegated. Actually, as a matter of fact, like all the teams that are up for relegation, like they're getting relegated. Like there's nothing that they could do at this point besides maybe fight for that 16 place spot, which once again in Bundesliga and Liga, 16 place gets a play-in game opportunity. So Holstein Kiel with 18 points. VfL Bochum with 20 points in 17th place, and then you got Heidenheim at 16th place with 22 points. Anybody else in front of them, they have quite a distance within the number of games that they have left in the season. I just don't see anybody falling off that bad and them improving their odds already to avoid it. So at this point, it's just these bottom teams just fighting for a shot to get that 16th place spot. So. And like I said, the table will be available on the video version so you can see it. But yeah, it's not looking good for any of these teams. Like more than likely, relegation is what's going to happen to these bottom teams. But because yeah, once again, I said like I don't. Just for frame of reference, St. Pauli, who is in 15th place, has 29 points, so they have a 7 point gap. And as I say that, I know some people are like, well, that doesn't seem like a lot, but we are going into the final stretch of matches, and so that should be taken into consideration on that part. Um, but yeah, so relegation, like those teams are there where they are. But I will say the interesting part of this table right now, because Bayern Munich, I mean, if Bayern Munich maybe falls off a few matches because they're like 6 points ahead of Leverkusen. Bayern Munich is right now the front runners in first place with 69 points. Nice. In second place, we got Leverkusen with 63 points. Third place, Eintracht Frankfurt with 51 points. And in fourth place in that final Champions League spot is RB Leipzig with 48 points. The Europa League, it's Mainz in fifth place with 46 points. And in the Europa Conference League spot, we got sixth place SC Freiburg with 45 points. But the interesting thing to point out, Edward, is that in seventh place, you got Borussia Mönchengladbach with 44 points. You got Borussia Dortmund, who's in eighth place with 42 points. And then you have Werder Bremen with 42 points. And in ninth place and in 10th place, FC Augsburg, which you guessed it, 42 points. So they're all like within a good reach from each other. So when you look at that table for the Bundesliga, I mean, like from third to, like I said, Leverkusen and Bayern Munich, no one's touching them. But from third place all the way down to 10th, like that's really where the battle goes.
Yeah, I mean excuse me. Yeah, it's just on this one, it's just yeah, pretty much you're on it.
You all right? You
Excuse
all
me.
right, man?
Yeah, losing my voice over here.
Jeez. But yeah, so like I mean, I'm interested to see how they, and I mean Borussia Dortmund, they have a game this weekend against Borussia Mönchengladbach, a good opportunity to jump over a team and see if they can get themselves into a European competition spot. I mean, as things weren't looking great for Borussia Dortmund, they have been improving slightly since they sacked Sahin. I mean, I'm sure I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm sure you're feeling at least better. that they're playing with some pride at this point.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was about to say. I was about to be like, "Woo, Dortmund."
Okay. Okay, but yeah, no, I think this, as far as Bayern Munich, as far as the season goes, I think yes, Leverkusen went on an amazing run last year. They went undefeated. A lot of people were saying Bayern Munich was washed, even though, funny enough, last year they actually scored more points than they did the previous year, which they won the league that year as well. And I literally told my argument was it literally took a team to go undefeated to dethrone Bayern Munich. To end the streak for Bayern Munich, it took a team to go undefeated to make that happen. And once again, you come in, I'm not trying to jinx anything for Bayern Munich, but because God forbid that happens. Um, but Harry Kane's there. Harry
Mhm.
Kane might finally win a trophy over. How do you feel about just that sentence alone? That Harry Kane, you might have a picture of Harry Kane with a trophy. Yes, it's not an actual trophy; it's a shield, but still, he is going to lift some silverware this season.
Mm.
He's
I mean,
close.
he's close. He's close.
It's funny how like the Bundesliga and the Liga and the two teams that you just deemed the farmers leagues, they don't have like a conventional trophy. Because obviously in the Bundesliga they win a shield, and then I think League On their trophy is kind of there. It is a trophy, but it's a shape of it's like a circle shaped trophy. I just wanted to point that out. I don't know. I don't think that was important to the conversation at all. But but yeah, man. Like I mean, who does Bayern Munich have in these final stretch of games? Because they just drew with Dortmund, which was a positive result for Dortmund.
Yep.
Let's see. All right, so they still got Inter Milan to worry about. They're right now they're down 2-1 right now with Inter Milan. So by the time once again by this episode drops, we'll know what happens. They got Heidenheim, Mainz, RB Leipzig. Oh, that could be interesting. Borussia Mönchengladbach, Hoffenheim. So that's what they have in store, and then obviously they're going to be in the FIFA Club World Cup. But like, I mean, their toughest matchups are probably going to be Leipzig. Hoffenheim is always a team for some reason that they tend to struggle a little bit with for some odd reason. But I mean, they're. Do you? I mean, is Bayern Munich gonna screw this up in any way? Do you feel that?
Uh, I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think they're gonna mess that up. They cannot mess that up.
No, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that because I mean, even if like I said, it would take for them to like at least drop off a little bit, and Leverkusen will have to go on a run. Which I mean, it isn't terrible. Like they got St. Pauli, they got Augsburg. Augsburg might be a challenge. Freiburg is always a challenging team. Then you have Borussia Dortmund in May 11th, and you got Mainz. So while while I would say Bayern Munich has some of the teams that are like on the lower part of the table, like you got a lot of mid-table teams, a lot of teams that are contending also for some European competitions as well. If you're Bayer Leverkusen, so not saying that they're going to lose out by any means, but I think that um, it's just Leverkusen is going to have to play perfectly. Meanwhile, Bayern, I don't expect them to fall off in any way. I mean, maybe have some draws here and there, but like especially right now since the priority will be the Champions League right now for them. But yeah, I think Bayern Munich is definitely much going to be winning it out this year. And once again, Harry Kane finally gets a trophy. That's going to be. Do you think Tottenham? Just obviously, Edward, you know that I'm like a serious hater of Tottenham, but do you think Tottenham is going to post something about Harry Kane winning a trophy?
No, honestly, I don't think they are.
But would it be very Tottenham if they did?
Mm, uh, I honestly, maybe they'll. Okay, let me put it this way. I think they'll say congratulations to him in a funny way, but I don't think. Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case, to be honest, because they haven't. if you really think about it, they haven't really done much. You know what I mean? Like they
Mm-hmm.
in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't really done much, and
Oh, well,
so.
we'll definitely get to Tottenham.
Oh, I know you. I know for a fact you're over here like, yeah, we're gonna get to Tottenham, all right. And I'm just like, oh, dude.
Oh man, I can't wait to get to that part. But I mean, right now, obviously, Harry Kane doing fairly well for himself. You know, I think probably another decent year for him. But yeah, I mean, the rumors are coming back again of him potentially returning to the Premier League. Do you think that that's going to be something that can happen? Like, does Harry Kane even should Harry Kane even bother to go back to the Premier League? Um, and if he did, what team would you want to see Harry Kane in? And
Mm, uh, damn, that's a tough one. I mean, he could still stick around in Bayern Munich, but because honestly, I don't see
I
him.
would just chill in Bayern Munich. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he's getting paid.
he's getting paid. He got guaranteed. He's going to be in Champions League again next year. Um, I mean, if they can get if they end up beating Inter Milan, they got another. They're going to be once again in the semifinals for the Champions League. You know, like Harry Kane. Yeah, I don't. Harry Kane has a better shot at winning a trophy with Bayern Munich than he ever had with Tottenham, and he was in a Champions League final. So I mean, like.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, if I think if you're Harry Kane, I think you stay put. Like I don't. I mean, unless you just want to try to get a Premier League title, but that would mean you would go to a team that would probably be a strong candidate for a Premier League title. Maybe like a Liverpool, maybe a Manchester City. I mean,
Do you really think
Manchester
that
City is not
Liverpool?
going to go get him because I mean, you already have
You
Erling
already got,
unless Erling Haaland gets sold to somewhere else.
I really don't think they're gonna let go of Erling Haaland
I don't think
that
so either.
that fast.
I don't think so either.
Hell no.
I don't think so either, but I mean, if Real Madrid is trying to pull like another Galacticos, I mean, it'd be stupid for them, but you know,
I mean,
I mean,
have they?
it wouldn't be okay. It would be kind of stupid just because, like, does that mean did they fully move on from Vinicius Jr. or because if they move on from Vinny, like that's the only thing that will tell me like if Real Madrid would go all in for because there's always, for some reason there's always rumors that Real Madrid wants Erling Haaland, which I believe that that's actually very much a thing. But
Hmm.
like you would have to move on from Vinny
Yep.
because I mean maybe I'm a little biased. I would much rather keep Rodrigo, even though I still love Vinny. But like Mbappe, if he's not playing up front, which he doesn't really like playing up front to begin with, he prefers to play on the left. So
Yeah.
why would the right be the one player that you take away? Vinny prefers playing on the left, so does Mbappe. So if you were to move on from Vinny, and I mean once again rumors are speculating about him going to Saudi Arabia for some weird reason, you have Mbappe on the left, and then you bring in Erling Haaland, which look we say that would be unfair, but everyone thought Mbappe would be unfair, and it's not like they're doing well. They're not bad. I mean, Mbappe did just pull like a very ugly tackle this game that got a red card in literally this game that just happened against Alaves. But yeah, no, I don't know. It sounds stupid. As I say it, it sounds stupid. That like you would have to be the dumbest person to do it. But I mean, hey, but I think maybe Harry Kane fits a little bit to more the liking of Pep Guardiola. But I don't know. I'm just making things up as I go, I guess. No, I think maybe he's more of a Harry like what Harry Kane what Pep would like more in a nine
Do you think so? Well,
because Harry Kane is
maybe.
very I think he's like very closer to like the style like kind of like Luis Suarez and Robert Lewandowski esque.
Do you really think so? Uh, Personally, me,
I mean,
I, I,
Erling
I, I
Haaland is just a beast. Like the guy is just a beast. Like he's just he's a freakish athlete. You have a fast big guy I wish he was an American, so that he would be the nine for the US because like we mentioned last time, you're a fast big guy. So no, I mean, no, Erling Haaland it fits to the nines that at least Pep has had over the years. Like Similar as to Robert Lewandowski, similar as to Luis Suarez. Wait, did Pep ever have Luis Suarez?
No, he
Was
didn't.
that after
No, no,
Pep?
no. No, because remember, he was dealing with the whole Ibrahimovic. He was with
Yeah,
Ibrahimovic,
that was
and
problematic.
then that was really problematic. After that, I think he had his nine. After that,
Alexis
well,
Sanchez?
well, first, no, no. Well, first it was Eto'o, then Ibrahimovic. Alexis Sanchez came in after that, but he was a winger at that point. Oh no, Boyan. Remember Boyan?
I
Boyan
thought,
was his number.
oh, but he was like a
Bo
center, like he was like a false nine, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was playing as a
Eh,
false nine, but whenever
I guess
Messi
Pep
was
doesn't
playing
really
right wing,
have like a typical nine.
he never had a nine. He was always focused on like the one
So then,
single player.
he didn't get a nine till like when he went to Bayern Munich. Then
Yeah, when he got to Bayern Munich, that was his number nine right there.
okay, so
Yeah, that's when or that's I guess you could say whenever he got his number nine. Um, because I think would they play with Ed and Zico when he was in Manchester City?
I think he
I don't
did.
remember like that was his
I
number
know
nine.
Aguero. I know he definitely had Aguero.
Aguero had that was his number nine, yeah, for sure. But I don't think he was there for Zico then.
If anything, he came off the bench,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but yeah. So that's Bundesliga. Um, but yeah, no, I think Bayern Munich is very much in the cusp of winning it. That like I said, the main storyline will be seeing what what happens between third and sixth place. I think that's
Yeah.
where like the real intrigue comes into play. But hey guys, this is Hector from the Insert Name FC podcast here to tell you guys about Canada Dips. It is a great tasting, superior alternative to traditional dip using CBD in a way that is radical, enjoyable, and effective. It comes in 5 core flavors: wintergreen, mint, citrus, mango, and American spice. Canada Dip CBD is the new evolution in dip, allowing guys to enjoy great, long-lasting taste without the downsides. If you guys want to go ahead and try them out, use the code BELLYUP20 at CanadipCBD.com. Once again, BELLYUP20 at CanadipCBD.com, and you'll get yourself 20% off your purchase. Thank you again for Canadips for being a great partner of Belly Up Sports. Moving on to Serie A, we got in first place right now, and I think more than likely is definitely going to win the league, is Inter Milan with 71 points. We got Napoli right next to them in second place with 65 points. That's why I'm saying it's a big gap between Napoli and Inter Milan, because Milan just seems like it doesn't look like they're the wheels are falling off by any means by Inter Milan. So that's my argument. And then third place you got Atalanta with 61 points. Fourth place we got Juventus with 59 points. So everyone must be feeling a little good. This team was literally in the mid table at one
You
point, and now look where they're at. You got Bologna with 57 points in that Europa League spot in fifth. Sixth place you got Lazio in 56th place with 56 points. My bad. Um, and then in the relegation zone, so Serie A obviously is a 20-team league, so they don't have that play-in thing. Bottom three gets relegated. In the relegation zone, you got 18th place Empoli, uh, with 24 points. 19th place Venezia with 24 points. Which, if you're Gianluca Busio, you need to go somewhere else, because I need you to be playing in first division football. Um, and in 20th place, Monza with 15 points. So Monza is definitely getting relegated. I will say when it comes to relegation, you got Parma and Lecce that could possibly dip if they start losing form, and if Empoli can start and Venezia both end up winning some games, I think that we could see them get out of that relegation zone. Do I see that happening? Who knows? But I know. Well, if you're an Empoli fan, you do have a game in hand. I think they're playing on Monday actually, so maybe that part of the table changes a bit for them. But some other teams to note, man. So you got ninth place AC Milan with 51 points, eighth place Fiorentina with 53 points, and seventh place Roma with 53 points. And like I said, they're not that. So as far as like what part of the table, when you're looking from third all the way down to ninth, I think obviously I'm not saying AC Milan can somehow find a way in third place. That's not what I mean, people. But that's where I think changes could be happening in these next coming matches.
well, hmm.
Also, those Roma quarter zips,
Oh, yeah.
classy. But yeah, but yeah. I mean, we'll talk. Let's talk about AC Milan real quick, man.
Okay.
Obviously, not how they're hoping their season was going to start off with. Especially for like the U.S. men's national team supporters, where everyone's flexing how Christian Pulisic has been the star for this team, and I don't know if you want to take. Like how do you feel? Like, all right, Christian Pulisic is doing great, which is good, but it's not being reflected on the team. Like
Mm,
he's being a good player, but his team isn't doing great. Like for instance, obviously, like Erling Haaland, for example, everyone can flex Erling Haaland because one, okay, maybe not this year. I guess we can't. Okay, bad example. All right, Lamine Yamal, right? Lamine Yamal with Barcelona. He kid looks like he's playing better than he has before. Which I mean, kid's only 17, so he's just gonna keep getting better. But he's being a star player. He's being a standout player, and Barcelona is where they are on their table, right? Like you can flex that, right? You can flex Lamine Yamal more so because where Barcelona is at the table, and also Barcelona is still in contention for the Champions League. I don't know if you could do that with AC Milan with Christian Pulisic. Like it's like, oh, he's doing good, but he's not in the champion. He's not in the European competition spot. They're not in Champions League contention. Yeah, and your biggest flex is winning the Super Cup. So, like, I mean, how do you feel about that? Obviously, good. The good thing is that Christian Pulisic is performing, right? And
yeah.
healthy.
Right.
But do you take the team's performance with a grain of salt? Like, do you like what I'm asking is seeing where Milan is at, and if Christian Pulisic it clearly is Christian, you need more than just Christian Pulisic performing well for your team to be doing good.
Yeah. I mean, with Christian Pulisic, it's like how can I explain this? I mean, I think we've already covered Christian Pulisic on the aspect of how his health, his not just like his health as in like, oh, I have a cough kind of stuff. No, like his soccer playing health, like him not being injured, like that affects him big time. And it's like I don't know, man. It's very difficult to put him as like me personally, like wasn't he the team captain for a bit?
For
And then
Milan,
later, yeah,
no, it's always been
no?
Theo. It's been Theo Hernandez.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think he would be like team captain material because it's like he gets injured, everybody's looking at him like, okay, then what he's supposed
But
to do
but
now?
I'm
It's
just I'm
like,
just saying we're talking about the quote unquote LeBron James of soccer, and
nah,
no the stupid cringy video from Pawn Stars. That's what I'm referring to. But um but the thing is like as much as people try to justify Christian Pulisic being good, I totally get why people in Europe think he's overrated, and I think honestly in some sense he may be overrated. But this is as good as it gets right now for an American. For like as far as like a U.S. soccer supporter, like he is our best player as of right now. He is our best
yeah,
player. May go down in history as one of our best players. I think the way the U.S. soccer structure, if they ever actually improve on it, we'll see more and more guys. I mean, like I said, right now, Caven, everyone's been talking about Caven Sullivan, the now 15-year-old now playing for Philadelphia Union. Like I said, turns 18, he's going to be playing for Man City. We'll see what happens with him. But like, as we see more players maybe going through the technical how you should be going up amongst the ranks to become a professional athlete in soccer or football, and I think we'll start seeing more names, but Christian Pulisic being like that first guy, that first, I guess, guinea pig, if you will, of actually going through the academy system, playing at a young age. You know, I believe he got called up with the U.S. men's. I think when the U.S. didn't qualify for the World Cup, he was like 17 years old,
yeah,
somewhere around there. So, like, as of right now, yes, we view him as our best player. Do we want him performing if he is our best player? Yes. Is he performing? Yes. But is his team good? No. And so I think that kind of, at least in the back of my head, kind of gives me where I'm like, I don't know if he can be the guy, for a team. Like he can be a guy, but he can't be the guy, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Which also, mind you, AC Milan, like Rafael Leao, who's supposed to be like the promising future for Portugal, hasn't really lived up to expectations as much this year.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's, you know, instead of and I mean AC Milan probably on their part not the best scouting as far as that goes because you needed defensive help and you went and got Santi Jimenez. So it's, you needed to get some defensive help for your team because you've been giving up a lot of goals in crucial moments of the game. Turning draws into losses or turning wins into draws, if you will. And your
Yeah.
solution is to go get Santi Jimenez.
I mean, I guess they want to do the whole overturn of like, wait, if we give up 4 goals, we got to get somebody who is going to help us get 5. That
Yeah.
way, it doesn't look as bad.
Yeah. So
I mean, and clearly, it hasn't been working.
I mean, well, I feel like they're in the same place they were in the halfway point. So maybe I don't know. They want a Super Cup. That's gonna be just
So,
the forever thing that haunts them.
yep.
But we'll see what happens, man. But right now, I think very much so. Inter Milan is gonna win it. Yeah, I mean, I can see Napoli make a run, but at this point, I don't. I think Inter Milan has a really good lead on them. So I think that they're going to be. I think they'll be lifting the Scudetto this year.
Okay.
But all right, La Liga, where Edward actually gives a
Oh,
rat's
here
ass
we go.
about. In
I was
first
like, here
place,
we go.
we got Barcelona with 70 points.
Woo!
So right now, front runners for the title. In second place, we got Real Madrid with 66 points. In third place with a game on hand, so they still have one more game. They still need to play a game, which is Atletico Madrid with 60 points. So does that improve their case? Probably a little bit, but not. I mean, they're still a ways behind Barcelona at least. Athletic Club Bilbao is in fourth place with 55 points. Villarreal, fifth place with 51 points, and Real Betis in sixth place with 48 points. I will tell you right now, this one, the story isn't really to follow the teams up top because I think I think I mean, maybe Real Betis can jump over Villarreal. Um, I don't know if anyone can. I think there's just like very little matches where you can have a chance to jump over Athletic Club Bilbao. But like I think where they are is where they are. Barcelona, unless they slip up a little bit, I could see Real Madrid making a push. But they've been having some dumb games lately. Um, but the real talking point is this relegation zone, Edward.
Mm.
So we have in 28th place we got Valladolid with 16 points, so they're definitely getting relegated. In 19th place we got Leganes with 28 points. In 18th place we got Las Palmas with 29 points, and then in 17th place we have Alaves with 30 points. That I think this is where things could be changing. If Leganes can find some wins, which they have not been, they've only got a draw in their last 5 games. The rest have been losses.
Yeah.
Same thing with Las Palmas. They just got a win today, but they've been also kind of in a rut of form. Alaves, they just lost in controversial fashion to Real Madrid. Go figure. Um, yeah, I mean, probably not the best form, but maybe if Leganes can find a few matches, maybe they face Las Palmas or Alaves. Maybe they can find a chance to jump over, but they're not that far away from each other. Where either we see Leganes or Las Palmas not relegated.
Mm. And I don't know who do you think is going to get relegated out of those two?
Well, okay. Let's see the match. Let's see what the matches Leganes has. Thanks for that question.
Well, because I mean,
Leganes did lose to Barcelona 1-0, by the way.
yeah, they did.
Okay.
I still can't believe that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, on the big matches, it's like, yeah, 4-0. And then it gets like I'm not trying to condescend or anything, but it's like against teams you don't expect them to win just barely by the grit
Hey
of their
man,
teeth.
Jeff Lu now is making this Leganes team look good. Okay. You know? So I mean, Leganes has Mallorca next week. Then they have to take on Girona on Thursday. Oh wait, no, they have Girona on Thursday. That's weird. No. I'm right. I'm right. No, I must be on drugs. Um, then they have Sevilla. That's gonna be a little rough. Espanyol, Villarreal. That's kind of rough. The last two games are going to be Las Palmas and Valladolid, so they'll be going against the two teams that are the team that's definitely getting relegated and the team that's trying to avoid relegation in Las Palmas. So I mean, if they can kind of like not be terrible, like not too terrible, and maybe that Las Palmas game could be the decider to like see who jumps over who. Las Palmas, let's see what they have for them. I hate this tablet. Okay, well, they have Atletico Madrid. And then they have Athletic Club Bilbao, Valencia, Rayo Vallecano, Sevilla. Leganes might have a shot here. I mean, they might lose some confidence here. All right, let me look at Alaves too, because that's the
Dude,
team.
I think Alaves is gonna get relegated.
You think so?
I think so, but just have a look. But that's my thought.
Right now, Leganes is like final games don't look as bad. They got Sevilla, Real, yeah.
Damn.
Leganes by avoid relegation. Bro, that would I mean I'm rooting for that honestly because obviously Jeff Lu now he's the sporting the sporting director for Leganes.
Yeah.
So I mean I'm actually pulling for that, but wow, yeah, we could see if Leganes and once again Leganes they don't even have to win games; they just have to draw and hope that everybody else loses. So
Oh my God.
just collect a little points here and there. I mean, Alaves and Palmas, unfortunately, they have to go through a gauntlet. Uh,
Yeah.
so yeah, I would probably if I had a bet, I might put in a bet. It's like I'm not gonna lie, I might just put in a bet. I don't know, but yeah, honestly, that's probably what I'm watching at this point because I just don't know if Real Madrid can catch up to Barcelona at this point. I mean, there's still a few good amount of games. We do have a Clásico that will, that would definitely help, but we do need some outside help to get Real Madrid back in for first place. I mean, once again, we have there's still plenty of like 7 games still left in the season that could happen.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not that far out of reach yet, but we'll see what happens, man. There, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see if Leganes can like avoid relegation. If that happens, bro, I'm gonna be a little hyped, even though I'm not even a fan of that team. But what obviously, as a Houston Astros fan, I do love Jeff Lu now, and that's where he's at now. So that's for you, Jeffy. All right, the English Premier League. So interesting note, the Premier League will now have 5 Champions League spots to qualify for Champions League this season. I don't know how they determine that. I think yeah, I have no idea how they determined that. But last year the Bundesliga was given that extra spot. Now this year it's going to be the Premier League. So I'm guessing when they looked at the final teams that are in the Champions League and the amount of guys that are probably qualified already for Champions League, they're like, all right, let's just give the Premier League an extra spot. I'm guessing by like the competitive component, whatever exponent number, whatever that stupid ranking system that they use, competitive efficient coefficient. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm in math class all over again. I feel like I'm in algebra. Like coefficient, I think it's something competitive coefficient, something along that. I don't care. Anyways, just know that they have an extra spot for the Champions League. That's all you need to know. They have an extra spot to qualify. So now 5th place qualifies for a Champions League spot. And guess who's in 5th place? Manchester City.
Gee.
Tinfoil
I
hats.
wonder.
No.
Yeah, right. Illuminati? Say what?
Ooh.
Ooh, oh my God.
Oh my God.
I'm gonna get us in trouble.
That is hilarious.
Bro,
I
but that's
don't I
insane.
just think it's a coincidence.
Bro, but that's insane though. Like,
That Man City got the finals. Well, right now has the final spot.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, it's insane that that's the case, you know? It's like basically certifying, yeah, you guys are gonna end up in the Champions League, even if you guys are not the champions this
Thank you
year,
for that competitive coefficient.
right?
Oh my God, that I can't get over. Yeah, people are gonna definitely. Whew, man, and those 150 plus charges that they're still dealing with the financial fair play crap.
Oh,
But all right,
yeah.
we'll start with the relegation battle. In 20th place, who's definitely getting relegated, is Southampton with 10 points. You heard that. You heard me right, Edward.
Yeah, I did. I did.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, 10 points. They got 10
Yeah.
points.
Yeah. I was like,
Two wins, four draws, and 26 losses.
wow. Sounds like if you're playing
Like
FIFA with like the lowest club in like what's after world
and you're
class? Legendary. Yeah,
legendary.
legendary. Yeah.
That's that's bad. Like I
That's a
mean,
doozy, man. That's a doozy.
and they're called the Saints. God was not on your side on this season.
The Saints did not go marching in. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I will say though, you're definitely gonna win. I'm sure they'll win the championship again. But yeah, that's rough. And
Hmm.
you have Leicester City in 19th place with 18 points. So, and I'm just gonna say this at this point, like Ipswich Town, Leicester City, and Southampton they're getting relegated. They're West Ham in 17th place has 35 points. Like you're you guys are going back down. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think these are the three teams that did get promoted. So
Oh, for real?
I think yeah, it is. Ipswich Town, Leicester City, and Southampton were the three teams that got promoted this year. So yeah,
Oh,
look,
that beat all.
I know the people that are like, oh, what's the point of watching these for having faith that you just got promoted, and if you're just gonna go right back down. Look, there's cases where some teams end up not getting relegated the year they get promoted. But I mean,
I mean, that's the thing. It's like people have to understand too. Like, there's a reason why they do these relegations. It's not like they can just keep adding teams onto, the
or
EPLs,
move
and
to
then
a different city.
or that, not even that, but it's just like they got to understand, like, even these lower division teams, it's kind of like us. Like, for example, it's like if we had the Houston Dynamo, but then you have like the semi-pro team, the Houston Hot Shots or whatever they're called now, and then you have like the semi-pro team, Houston, whatever they want to call themselves. Like, then you're gonna have like three teams for Houston. The thing is, we already know Dynamo is going to be the one to win it all because one, they're a professional team. They're on a
And they
professional
have the
league
most money.
and they have the most money, so they can actually uh they can roll that, they can bankroll their funds that they need in order to get better. Now, the same thing goes for the lower division teams. It's like, yeah, once you get, bumped up to the next division, you do get a little bit of bankroll, you do get a little bit more sponsorships, you get a little bit more extra stuff, but it's like saying, okay, you're gonna go off against Liverpool, you know, you're gonna go off against Liverpool, but you just came in this round. Nobody is expecting you to be like, okay, we're gonna go ahead and beat the brakes off Liverpool. We're gonna go ahead and beat them 3-0. Or like, no. We everybody who has who's a fan of a lower ranked team, they automatically know. Like, if you're gonna go against the big guys, you know that, okay, it's either win and it's gonna be a great win, it's going to be a tie, or if we lose, it's not like, okay, end of the world. Honestly, and I hate to say it, it's kind of like something you were expecting. I mean, how many defenders in a lower ranked division can you actually say, hey, go against Mo Salah 1-on-1, see what happens, and I'm sure you can take him on. How
That's a
many
fair
how
point.
many How many of them can you say that? No, you can't. So that's where I'm getting at. It's like everybody thinks, oh, we made it to the first division. Yeah, we're gonna crush everybody. Kudos on having the back of your team. It's just like, and I hate to say this right now, but it's like how the Texans were for these past few years. You got the
Okay, maybe not
wishy-washy.
recently, but
Okay,
yeah,
but like wishy-washy Texans fans, you know what I mean? Like they'll
I
jump the
get that.
bandwagon whenever they're doing good, and they
Well,
get
no,
off and they start talking
I
shit.
wouldn't say the Texans fans. I would say more so the Astros and Rockets fans. American football here is still king. Like
Okay,
people still went to Texans games for some. I
okay,
forget
yeah,
why.
perfect, perfect. The Rockets, yeah, perfect. The Rockets, everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Everybody goes see the game when they're like, oh, they made playoffs and stuff. But then like during the season, if they're having a bad season, nothing, empty. Toyota Center, empty.
Yep.
It's like it's not fair. Like that's the thing. It's like you expect your team to perform. I get that. But it's like if you're gonna go up against a major team, it's like you can't just be like, okay, we're gonna finish this year in first place, second place, third place, like Champions League position. If you do, awesome, great, amazing, awesome. Keep rooting for that team. If you don't, it's understandable. It's like it's foreseen. You see that
Hmm.
coming. But it's kind of like, for example, it's kind of like in FIFA, in the video game itself. It's like, whenever you get a small team from, like, say, the third division of England, and then you get to the championship, they tell you, okay, first thing to do, stay in the championship. Don't get relegated. That's one of your objectives. Don't get relegated. That's it. They're not telling you win everything, win the Champions, win the World Cup, win this, win that, win the other. Like, no, they're telling you stay in the first season, and then from then we'll see where it goes. Win the league.
Yeah.
Like that's it. That's what it is.
And I think that's the
Now,
same way with Southampton, Leicester, and Ipswich Town, which was all right. We're here now.
no, yeah,
Let's just
Ipswich Town.
stay here.
Yeah, exactly. Ipswich Town. It's like, hey, let's just stay here. We got to stay in the EPL. Let's make it our best effort to stay here in the EPL. Like, Leicester has been here. They've been here. So you kind of expect them to stay. But Ipswich Town, we know this. Me and you both know this. Like, hey, they've been down there for a long time. So if for them to make it up there, it's kind of like, okay, all right, show us what you got. Like, okay, like I wouldn't be like, oh man, this thing fucking sucks and stuff like that. They just gotta do another
It's
rebuild. They
like
gotta
these
work.
guys, and that's the thing though. Like the Premier League is a lot different from when they were in the Premier League. So
Oh yeah,
it's a big change. So it's a different change. I mean, the championship and overall as a league is completely different from the Premier League. Championship is a very physical league. So it's not like the Premier League. And Premier League is physical, but it's just I think
they do a lot more fast
a
plays
lot
instead
more
of just
faster pace.
running through it, a lot of just running
Yeah,
through defenders
championship
with
is a
their
grind, man. Like I mean,
yeah.
it is a grind. That is not an easy league to try to be have flair with because you're gonna get hit with some elbows. So like I mean, and I agree with that. The teams that got relegated, it's just gonna happen. But the thing is, you can come back.
Yeah.
That's where the promotion relegation aspect that I think a lot of people don't truly understand is that it's the opportunity, it's the accessibility that you can be in the top division. Like it's not that it's closed off for you. Um, so I think there is that for that one. Um, but yeah, moving on. Seventh place Aston Villa with 54 points to have that Conference League spot. I'm assuming they didn't. For some reason, no one wants to tell me like whether or not seventh place gives you the Conference League, but I'm just going to assume that it does because the sixth place spot has the Europa League spot, which is Chelsea with 54 points. Let me just point it out. Liverpool is on top with 76 points. It's not a matter of if they get it; it's a matter of when they're going to clinch the Premier League title. I think they're running away with it because Arsenal in second place has 63 points. So Liverpool, with their first year with Arne Slot, wins the Premier League. I'm just gonna say it right now. I don't care if this ages poorly. I don't think it is, because I think Liverpool has been just very much has been lengths better in the Premier League this year. Obviously you can't say that about Champions League, but especially because they got eliminated by PSG. But once again, and then second place, you got Arsenal with 63 points. Third place, Nottingham Forest with 57 points. Nottingham Forest has a chance to be back in the Champions League.
Yep.
This is a team that fun fact, they won Champions Leagues before.
They have long time ago.
Fun fact, I think it was before the Champions League era, but still. Before they branded as the Champions League, I believe. But yeah, Nottingham Forest, 57 points, have a shot to be in the Champions League. We got Newcastle United with 56 points, and then in that fifth place spot, Manchester City with 55 points. There's some things that could change around, specifically in that fourth to like seventh place area. Like, if you guys are trying to figure out what about the eighth place team, Fulham has 48 points. So it's like kind of maybe if things go their way, could maybe work, but I just don't see it in my head. I think very much so it's just that battle from fourth all the way to seventh that, you know, maybe some things can shake up. Especially if you're now hate watching Manchester City, where you just want them to not be in Champions League. Especially now, Edward. Like, I mean, you know I'm a petty person, so. But how would you feel? How satisfying it would say, wow, Champions League got one more spot for the Premier League, and you guys couldn't even get that one?
Yeah.
Would that be satisfying for you? I don't know, because I mean, I know you're a Pep guy though, so
Yeah.
But you could just see that coming, like on social media, right? Like this first thing you open up on X is everyone just roasting Man City for not qualifying when the EPL got an extra Champions League spot.
Yeah. I
Like
mean,
you could just see football memes just going ham.
yep. That's
Okay.
true.
So that's where I was going with. But yeah, I think that's really going to be the real storyline. Like, I'm hoping maybe we could see something shake up. I think it'll be really cool to see. Well, I really don't want to see Chelsea, so I'm pulling for Aston Villa. Debu, do it for me, man. I need you to make a run here and get in that fifth place spot. Let's see what Aston Villa has left in their season, where maybe something magical can happen here for us, for me. And honestly,
What?
man, if I had to choose between Chelsea or Man City to make it to the Champions League, I might pick Chelsea. But all right, well, Newcastle has Aston Villa, so that's not. Aston Villa's got Newcastle, then they got Man City. Maybe the upset happens there. Then they got Crystal Palace for the FA Cup semifinal. Fulham, Bournemouth, Tottenham, Manchester United. Okay, maybe. Well, there, my dream just died there. All right, well, so hopefully Chelsea can somehow jump over Man City. Oh, and I'd love to mention that Tottenham is in 15th place. I just want to point that out. Just thought it was really important you guys know where Tottenham is at in the in as far as like they're not going anywhere.
Gee, I wonder how you feel about that.
Fantastically, but yeah, that's the Premier League. That's all the leagues right now. Obviously, we're going into the home stretch of matches. Hopefully, we can see some more drama as things transpire. As far as like league titles, I think that they are where they are. I don't think anything's changing as far as I'm concerned. Maybe Real Madrid can make some moves, but aside from that, I think where everybody is at is probably roughly going to stay the same as far as like first place goes. I'm not saying anything else. But yeah, Edward, any final thoughts?
No, I mean, we pretty much covered it.
But yeah, all right. So we're gonna go ahead and take a break, and then we'll go right into MLS Onside episode 8 with Jose Tellez of Golz TV.
Fight and win!
MLS Onside, the season finale. It is over. We're at the 8th and final episode of this series, and kind of disappointing. Yeah, not gonna lie,
Yeah.
but Is it the worst episode? I think we'll find out once we get to the end of this. But obviously, Jose Tellez from Golz TV joining me to talk about the series. Obviously, he's been here since the beginning. I brought up this idea to him, and he said, "Why not?" And hopefully, I did not steer him wrong.
No, bro. I'll be honest. I wasn't sure if I was going to watch this series otherwise. So I'm glad we did this series together. And yeah, man. We'll talk a lot about this final episode. I thought. Man, I'm still a little underwhelmed just thinking about it because I just watched it yesterday, so it's not like it's still pretty fresh on the mind.
It's very fresh, yeah.
Very fresh. Less than a day old, and yeah, man. I don't know how you felt. I'll kind of jump right in with my grade because I don't think I don't want to waste any more time here. Yeah, man. On a grade scale of 0 to 10, this was like a 5.9 to 6.1, like somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
Like some elements of it were good. I thought that overall, it's very clear what the direction is. Build up the hype to the championship game, MLS Cup final. And we all know what happened in the game itself. Red Bulls getting shell-shocked, first 20 minutes and then kind of, Galaxy rode that out. But I don't know, man. The build of the game, outside of them really building up the impact negatively that losing Puig created for the Galaxy, like outside of that, they hammered on that quite a bit. I don't know, bro. Like there's still so much hype you could build up for how epic the MLS Cup final is or should be. It's still the championship game of a major American sports league, and I feel like Onside just slightly lost sight of that. I don't know. Like it's still a big deal in itself. It's not the Super Bowl, right? But it's still a pretty big deal. I just, part of me was hoping they would do a little bit more with like creating the atmosphere for the game, but for maybe the fans' perspective. The storylines behind the scenes with Puig and, Red Bulls being so pragmatic, made them kind of seem like the noisy neighbors on the block versus the one try and shoot champion. Like I get that. But man, there's just a lot more that could have been done. It felt a little bit lacking from my perspective, but overall, man, it did put a bow on the series. 8 episodes, solid production value all the way throughout the series. All in all, man, I can't complain because the effort was there to an extent. Storytelling wasn't all that great, but at least they gave us something this season. So for that, I am grateful and hope they do it again. Hope they run it back for the 2025 season.
Yeah, I think episode 8 Legacy, by the way, that was the title of the episode. But no, yeah, I think if anything, if I was more focused on anything, like maybe the times when I put my phone down was probably watch like the Ricky Puig story, like seeing his road to recovery, what was going on through his head throughout all that. I think that was really cool. But obviously, this episode wasn't supposed to be about Ricky Puig's recovery from an ACL tear. It was supposed to be about LA Galaxy versus Red Bull New York. It was supposed to be about two massive sports markets, right, going against each other. I mean, literally at the same time. Maybe it finished earlier, but the Dodgers beat the Yankees 4-1 in the World Series. Like all of that was going on. Like even they made a little, which is funny because you got the Jersey kid talking about, oh yeah, I was at the World Series Game 5. Had to watch the Yankees just blow it in the final innings. Like things like that. But like,
yeah.
Also, I just wanted to point out the Yankees lost in the World Series. That's really the whole point of this rant.
Tolkien brought it up during the episode too. It was kind of, I get it. Some of those details added fuel to the fire, but there's a lot more fire left to be desired.
Yeah, and it was also like, you can hear like John Tolkien like, oh, okay, Puig is not there, so that's great. And you just see Forsberg where like, nah, I kind of wanted him to play.
You want an epic final, and honestly, bro,
and that's
like,
what Forsberg was saying.
Yeah, I mean, how can you not want that as a competitor? But bro, with that said, put that aside, I do understand the John Tolkien argument. Like, bro, it's gonna be easier, and what do I care most about at the end of the day? Regardless of the degree of that, is just winning MLS Cup. Now, whether I feel like I truly deserved it at the end of the game or not, only time will tell. But I want to lift that baby up. So they're both right, bro. They're both right. You want to play against the best to say you beat the best, you rightfully earned that. But at the same time, bro, I'm trying to win that shit.
That's true. And I think for John Tolkien's perspective as well, like, because it does get brought up, and I mean, it does eventually happen. If you guys don't know, John Tolkien plays in Germany now, I think on the cusp of relegation, I think, because he's in Kiel, right? Hosting Kiel.
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're in the relegation. I literally
I think
just
I think so. I think he's like right on the edge of the line. I can't remember exactly how many points they had last time I checked, but yeah.
But yeah, so, but you know, the whole John Tolkien having European aspirations, and yeah, maybe he just wants to finally bring the first MLS Cup to the Red Bull, and then so he can have his send off as very. It seemed very likely, and I mean, even Forsberg was talking about like, yeah, I think he just wants to see what it's like over there in Europe, and I mean, you know, if you're John Tolkien, which I think. I don't know where he's at as far as with Mauricio Pochettino's vision with the team, but obviously a guy that has gone called up a few times with the U.S. men's national team. Is he a guy that could be right now maybe on the outside, but can maybe with a push in Europe, can he put himself into that list of fringe players? And let's be honest, the fullback position isn't necessarily the deepest that we have right now, but yeah, so I totally get that part, that aspect of it, but I just wish John Tolkien would at one point shut up about it. The whole, you know, oh yeah, Puig is out. I think we got a good shot, guys. Like, I mean, like he mentioned it a few times, like in that little segment, where they're all, I guess, doing.
Yeah, I get it, but like, I mean, I don't know. To me, it's like a reminder. Like, this is an opportunity we're never gonna fucking get again. Let's go out there and take it. Like, that's kind of how I see it. A little bit, you know, it's like it's just that reminder. I think he's also probably just reminding himself. I think Tolkien already kind of knew this might have been his last year in MLS.
Yeah.
No? Like, didn't you get those vibes?
No, yeah, and I think that's he kept talking about it. I mean, when they went to go to the EA Sports FC, whatever that event was, but they went to that thing. Obviously there was. I love how they put Ronaldinho, two-time best player of the world, you know, winner. There was actually a lot of interesting names that was at that party, by the way.
Hell yeah.
Alexi Guerrero from the Cooligans was hosting that thing. I thought that was interesting.
Yep.
So that just tells me that you could have invited the Cooligans to that New York episode. That's all I got that was my argument on that one.
Maybe that day, bro. Maybe that day they weren't available. We'll never know.
Yeah. But I think it was cool like to see him doing that. And you hear him like, you know, he was in the car with his girlfriend talking about like, you know, I think he said Paris FC. I could be wrong, but I heard him say Paris FC.
I don't remember.
I don't know what were the clubs he was talking to at the time, but you could tell that he was kind of like, yeah, I think, you know, he's like, if I want a fair shot, if I want a shot with the U.S. men's national team, especially once again, everyone talks about how 2026 World Cup, like we're in the cusp of it, you know. He's got to go abroad and give him his best chance at making that final roster.
Yeah, and that's a whole different discussion in terms of like Tolkien, you know, because like you mentioned before, right? He's with Holstein Kiel, and so the margins are thin. It's like 4 points when I looked right now. They are in last, but the margins are thin. So like there's still, you know, an outsider's chance they could turn it around and try and avoid relegation, but I doubt it. So he might be moving on again during a World Cup year. I kind of hope he gets a look because, frankly, bro, nothing against Jedi. I mean, not like he would ever start over Jedi, but there's just so many issues I have with the mentality of this current team that I really wouldn't mind a massive shift in call-ups for the next round of matches because something's got to change. But putting that aside, bro, I think fixating on Tolkien for this series as the Jersey boy, right? The homegrown who wanted to lift a trophy before he left to the next chapter of his career. It's a great selection in terms of like plot that you want to build on. And they did a pretty good job of it. But again, there were so many stories they were trying to tell in this series, episode by episode. You can only ever be so invested in any one of them. So for me in this whole Onside series, I like the Tolkien story. I thought he was, you know, a lot of people think he's probably like a douche or whatever, but I don't know, bro. Like I liked having guys like that on my team always. Like guys who have the perfect mix of douchery and dog. It's a perfect mix. Like usually that guy is like so confident that they don't shy away from the spotlight. It's never too big for them. And the other side, the dog side is like they're not divas on the field. They're going to go out there and they're going to work, put the shift in. Like perfect combo of those two, lethal opponent, or sorry, lethal teammate.
Yeah, and
so
I
yeah,
think
man.
we talk about guys with chip on their shoulders, and I mean, we praise Diego Luna because of him kind of having that mentality. And I
Perfect
think,
example.
you know, if I can, it kind of in a sense, I would much rather have a room full of Diego Lunas and John Tolkins than whatever the hell this whatever that was in Nations League. But we'll see what happens. Allegedly, we're gonna see the best possible U.S. men's national team for Gold Cup.
Bro,
Don't know
we're
what it is.
legit fourth in this confederation. I want to let that sink in. We're legit fourth.
Yeah,
Crazy.
as it
Tolkien
showed in
should
the
have a
drawing.
shot, bro. MLS players in general should have a shot at this because we're at that point. We're at that point.
No, yeah, wholeheartedly. But yeah, as far as like the LA Galaxy story, I think it was once again the whole this is our history. We're the best team in MLS. It's what we want to be that next iteration of Galaxy players that lift the MLS Cup. We have Greg Vanney, who played for the Galaxy, has been to the final, never won the cup as a player. Can he rewrite his story as being the coach that, brings them back to the MLS Cup final and finally wins another one? I mean, at this point, they have the record. There's no one's catching up to the record unless
Not anytime soon, but sure.
nine times
Yeah.
soon. I mean, it's not like they have a lot. I'm just saying that like right now they've been. I mean, unless DC United can somehow wake the fuck up, I just don't see. I don't see anybody else that can catch up to them right now, at least. Because I mean, as far as trophy counts, I think DC United is up there. But
Yeah. I mean, Galaxy have won 20% of Major League Soccer's league titles. So it like eventually it'll even itself out, right? We're a very young league. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, like that side of the storytelling for this episode was just not a rehash, but like a catch up on what happened after that first episode, like we just caught up with them at the end of the season and we're getting the big storyline. That's why they didn't really harp on anything else because everything else we already had that information. The big storyline was Ricky Puig and his injury. Still a baller ass assist though. I give Ricky a lot of credit. You know what tripped me up about that last bit when they had one MLS Cup and they were getting Ricky's thoughts and he said what did he say? He said this of all the trophies he's won, he's definitely going to remember that one. Or something along those lines.
mm-hmm.
I thought that was so interesting because like the hater in me originally thought, well, yeah, I mean, you didn't play in like any of the other ones. All the Barcelona trophies, you were just along for the ride, like bro, like you know what player has probably won more trophies in Europe than almost any other player, but you probably wouldn't be able to name him is Maxwell.
Mm.
You know what I'm talking about? The old Barca, old PSG left back?
Yeah, I mean, Maxwell. I think Maxwell's along the list of guys that Edward had like a brief obsession with. As far as like you could throw Boyan into that conversation and Delafeu.
But those guys, like I'm telling you, like I think it was like Danny Alves had like the most trophies by an individual player for like all club trophies considered, and the only one close to him was Maxwell. Like it was so wild, and I'm like his Barca titles were actually like again he was there during a good era, but he was also there during a very good era for PSG, at least domestically. Like they were winning titles and domestic cups every year. So
yeah, because I mean for Dani Alves, I mean he left Barcelona, went to Juventus, right?
Mm-hmm,
and I mean that was the time when Juventus was just winning Serie A like almost every year.
They
It was
won
like
a Champions League finals. Like yeah, bro, it was a good era for Juve. So yeah. But anyway, I digress. I say that because I mean, no disrespect to Puig, but that's the reality, bro. He was there for, along the ride for Barca's where he was legitimately the guy for the LA Galaxy. And, that is why it's going to mean a lot to him moving forward. It's a shame, though, because it'll always be the trophy that he won without being on the pitch, technically. I think he's going to be itching to actually play in an MLS Cup final from here on out. Like, you have to, bro. There's no way you don't feel that way. So I don't know. We'll see. But look how impactful he really was because we talk about it on Wake Up MLS all the time.
Yeah, you yelled at me
Galaxy's
about
still
that.
winless, bro.
You yelled at me about it.
I yelled at everybody that day about it. Y'all needed to hear that shit. It's crazy, bro. It's crazy. So yeah, man. The tears he was shedding definitely it's probably sting a little bit harder to any LA Galaxy fans who are tuning into Onside after the start of the 2025 season.
As far as your playing career in the collegiate rankings, have you ever seen like an injury like that, like for like a player that have you ever seen anything close to that for yourself?
Me, I mean, it's kind of, I mean, like a torn ACL. Is that what you're saying?
Or I mean, I
A
guess like
season-ending injury?
a season-ending injury just in general.
Yeah, I've had one of those. And it ended up being more of a career one because it was just hard to rehab after that. But I mean, that it's like a tale as old as time, you know? Like there's
Mhm.
just so many players. What's crazy is that I've grown up in a region in Dallas where, bro, there's so much talent that doesn't make it to the next level because of injury. It's crazy or other stupid shit. But in the college ranks, not like in person. You heard about a couple here and there that you were like, damn, dude, that's going to shift the entire trajectory of that guy's career. But thankfully, never really experienced it outside of like my own injury, which I could never fully rehab from. But like nothing in that moment, you're like, damn, like that's his season. That's maybe his career over. Thankfully, knock on wood. Hopefully, I won't ever have to see that shit. To be honest.
Yeah, I can only imagine how deflating it could be, but I also thought like no one I don't think anybody really talked about because I think it kind of went right by through. But Paintel, man, that guy's got some talent.
Bro, the music career threw me off. I'm not even gonna
But
lie. It's just like you never know who, like sometimes you hear about
I
other
saw
guys
the
in Europe.
studio when it shows the studio. I was like, "Oh God, he's not one of those." One of those athletes that think they could be like a musician, and then you hear his music and you're like, "Oh, okay, yeah, he actually is pretty good." So
Yeah, I don't know if Hesse would be in that category or not. I didn't really listen to Hesse's rap music or not, but
I have.
is it good?
I think it's more so the people that he's collaborating with.
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. I throw it up there, all of that kind of in that category, bro. Another one's like on Barca's side, and I never heard any of it because, frankly, I just don't see him at all being a rapper. But you remember the backup keeper, Jose Pinto?
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
even
bro.
remember that he does have a rap career. And
Yeah,
then
I was like,
I
I don't know.
even downloaded Sergio Ramos' salsa song that he made. So,
Yeah, bro. I just I was like, I don't need to laugh at my own keeper. I'm cool. I might go now listen to it years later, but yeah, man, just that whole
look, it's not
category,
as bad as Cristiano Ronaldo when he had that I don't know what it was, but I just know it
Uh,
was torture. So
yeah, I don't know. Cristiano, like listening to imagining Cristiano rapping is like imagining older Will Smith trying to get back into rapping. I'm just like,
oh, you didn't like it from the CONCACAF Nations League final?
nah, I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm all right.
I
It's
was
not for
like,
me.
I don't think I need to hear Get Jiggy with it anymore.
Yeah,
Especially,
and if I do, I'll listen to the OG one. I don't need like a rehashed version by you 30 years later. I'm good.
also,
I'm
yeah, I
good.
don't know. With all the things that Will Smith has gone through now lately, I don't know if I want to hear him singing "Get Jiggy with It." So,
I'm just saying, like, I'm okay with the classics, and again, this is strictly for those people, but like to see footballers have like some of these talents that you don't really know about, or maybe they don't even widely publicize, because I've never heard a Galaxy fan talk about Paintel's music, but that's pretty dope, bro. I did not know that. And Galaxy fans, if you don't know what we're talking about, go watch Onside, man. The last episode, you get a little peek behind the mind of Joseph Paintel. Pretty
yeah,
cool
I
dude.
initially thought it was gonna be bad because I was like, oh my God, he's got his own studio.
We're just
And
trained to think that way because, like, I don't know, bro. There's too many bad examples out there.
I mean, like just athletes in general that like go try to go into music. I mean, Jesus Christ, if I have to hear that stupid Lamelo Leangelo Ball song again,
People love that song though. Isn't that
Weaker.
crazy?
It's
I guess, bro. I don't know.
it's
I had
a
to
it's a
ask.
wannabe Lil Wayne song. Like that's what it
I
is.
don't know, but I had to ask my wife. Like, I was like, "What song is that?" And then she like played it for me. I was like, I think I might have heard it. I don't know. I'm honestly such an unk or a boomer, whatever term you want to use, when it comes to like new music today. Like, I'm stuck in my old ways.
That's luckily I have Spotify who gives me daily discoveries.
Yeah. I mean, I have that too, bro. But I'm honestly, bro, like old music. If not, I'm like podcasts and
Yeah.
audiobooks.
I'm usually on the same pages there as well. And at my job, it's very much just a lot of Mexican music.
Respect.
Which I'm not against. Obviously, I grew up on it, but I mean, it's just I'm just like I feel like I'm like it must be time to clean.
That bro. I was about to say exact same thing, bro. It's perfect for work because I was straight up cleaning music back in the day.
You hear that? It's Saturday morning. You hear that blaring, and you're just like,
"Fuck, I gotta go vacuum, bro."
Mom's about to come out and come in and start waking me up.
I gotta go vacuum, son of a bitch.
Yard's not gonna cut itself. So.
Yeah, I remember that.
No,
shit.
but yeah, I think as far as an episode goes, also just so you guys want to hear the summary, I wish the summary pisses me off. By the way, with Messi eliminated, it's anyone's MLS Cup. Ricky Puig injury stuns the LA Galaxy as they get set to battle the New York Red Bulls for the title. Like Apple TV, that was to me that's like the biggest just fuck you. We're like.
Just hop off the shaft, bro, for 2 seconds. That's all I'm saying. They made it seem like Messi got eliminated right before the final in the biggest upset ever. Bro, honestly, it was anybody's grabs clearly the moment playoffs started because not even Messi could get by his first round of games.
Yeah, as soon as I read it, I was like, they're not even in the episode, and you find a way. David Beckham was technically on it, but it's also because he played for the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, bro. MLS and Apple TV have this they're just constantly pitching wood or a hardcore tent for Messi. It's like that it's the point of being awkward now where it's like, guys, can we just like so that other leagues can take us seriously, other fans can take us seriously. Can we just not mention Messi in every piece of marketing that goes out? Like just give us a chance, man. Just I don't know.
I don't even want to drink a Michelob Ultra now. This is where I'm at now.
Dude, to be fair, smart ass marketing strategy for Michelob Ultra. Not just to I'm talking about the Messi thing's one thing, but what do they call themselves as a byproduct of that? It's like something to do with it's what kind of light beer? It's like premium light beer or elite light beer, something like that. Something that has to do with athletes attached to it.
Superior light beer.
Superior light beer, and like the whole. I've seen the marketing on the back of the Messi commercial, and it's all applicable to like, elite level people who are athletic on the side and high functioning. They do all those things.
It's very funny too because when I worked at the Rockets, we had like the little Rockets marathon that they did to like get you to buy tickets.
Yeah,
and like there's literally a part like of like the little social area, I guess, that you can go get beer, and it's Michelob Ultra, and it's like these little tiny cans of Michelob Ultra, and I'm just like, I guess, I mean, it's low calorie beer. Obviously, it's very low on alcohol, which is usually why it's my go-to beer because it makes me, not feel as bad. So,
yeah, bro. I mean, it's also anybody who cares about like counting calories and whatnot. That's a beer you can drink. Not a lot of those out there. So. Yeah, I mean, I don't really drink beer to be honest, so I do sometimes. Actually, that's not true. I do during watching footy, nothing else though. Like I will never just go out and just like have a beer casually.
Oh, okay. Well,
I will, bro, but like we're watching footy. You know what I mean? Like we're watching footy. Like it's like very rare, like on my own without making plans with friends or anything, that I'll just like crack open a beer and watch the game. I'll just watch the game, probably standing up, yelling at the fucking TV, but I probably won't be having a beer.
I feel like I just find an excuse to drink, to crack one open. Oh, look, I gotta grill some fajitas.
Yeah, you know what? Again, I don't do some of that stuff, bro. I'm so sheltered around my work, so
I'm also a
really
TO,
don't.
so that's kind of part of it.
Yeah, and also like, if Enzo's around too, it's just like, yeah.
I remember my niece was like, not my niece, my sister for her baby shower. She was like, it'd be really funny to get two drunk guys to play the games, and I was like, okay. And then she was like, I didn't really mean for you to get. It was like too late. I'm already gone. So
already halfway through. I like it. Yeah, bro. Once upon a time.
Now everybody on this podcast thinks I'm an alcoholic. So...
Nah, it's Hector. Just likes to have a good time. Man.
Yeah, but
I do too in my own ways.
But yeah, so MLS Onside, man. I mean, obviously this episode probably wasn't your favorite. Clearly wasn't on your favorites list. But
yeah,
I mean,
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
As a series as a whole, what would you rate it as? Like, if you wanted to compare it to something else, which is something that they worked on, which is Drive to Survive. How do you feel? Did it live up to what they've done previously?
No, it did not. Yeah. But it was not terribly far off, if that makes sense. Like, I think for the first go around, I'll put it this way. They just kept everything, for the most part, 80% of it plus, fairly surface level, like catered to the most casual of soccer fans out there, which, again, for those of you who are maybe just getting in or haven't gone super deep, maybe on MLS just yet, it's a good starting point, I would say. Great starting point for like the casual fan. But I think those who watch it week in and week out, you'll kind of have the same gripes I probably do. You just want a little bit more. You got some of that with like the Ricky Pooch story in the beginning. Even some of the rivalry. I think the Midwest Derby was a little bit more so than the New York one, in my opinion. But yeah, bro, I mean, all in all, I would say a passing grade, like 7 out of 10. Okay. Maybe you want to be like tough on it, 6.5 out of 10. Not bad. Drive to Survive is definitely better. But I also think that there's only a handful of personalities that really push Drive to Survive, so you can go deeper on content like that. Whereas, bro, there's 30 MLS franchises, and depending on which fans you ask, there are plenty of storylines within all of them. So you got to really pick and choose like how deep you go on this in 8 to 10 episodes, So from a storytelling perspective, it gets harder. They really had to like tell one story at a time per episode, per team. It almost felt like. So all in all, I recommend it. Anybody who's like maybe into the beautiful game, but like just hasn't gone into MLS just yet for whatever reason, just go check it out. And I hope that at least other leagues start doing this, bro. Because I want more fans to find out about USL or to find out about anything else, and this kind of content can get them in. So yeah, check it out.
No, I think you're right, and I think the thing about Drive to Survive, there's only 10 teams.
Yeah,
10 teams, 20 racers. It's it's not like hard as having a 30-team league. So I think that's a very fair argument. And you kind of have to pick and choose, and obviously you have to at this point feature Messi in some way. Get Messi featured in this at some point, which is obviously that's like literally the first episode. You get slapped in the face with Messi. Mm-hmm. But I think that you have to try to cater to get those people to come watch it and learn a little bit about the league. So I think you're right. At a surface level, I think this is very informative for that person that maybe just doesn't know that much about MLS. But what would you like to, if there is a season 2, if season 2 gets approved, or maybe obviously they should be working on it right now, but what is something you would like to see for season 2?
I think the big storyline they should try to build around 2 things. Well, actually, no. If you keep it just focused on MLS, it can really just be one thing, which is the trade rule being changed, and really what that means when you think about MLS in comparison to other leagues, just globally, right? Mm-hmm. It's like a little bit closer to that. It's still a trade, technically, right? So you see guys like, and again, the first example, Joveljic moving from the defending champions in Galaxy to Kansas City. And a complete opposite shift in everything, bro. The environment you operate in, where the team is on the table, just on so many levels, the complete opposite. So it's a good example to kick things off with. But I also think that it's just the start of these changes that we're probably going to see. It's just the bet that I'm making that we're probably going to see over the next, couple seasons, few seasons, where MLS starts to maybe align itself a little bit closer with other leagues around the world. I think that's. You could argue maybe the impact of Messi being here in the first place, right? So I don't know, man. I think on Onside, you can do a little bit more to relate MLS to the leagues that are out there that fans are already paying attention to here stateside. And maybe that's what resonates with them as opposed to just trying to get to every team and tell a one-off story episode by episode.
Yeah, I think, and obviously with the episode that covered the transfer window, you already explained it a little bit about transfers in that. So that was kind of like what transfer 101, right? GM 101. Now let's go into learning more about player, cash for player trades. Maybe someone can finally explain to me what the fuck GAM is, like things, things like that, So I think like kind of as it progresses, it's also helping these potential new MLS fans to learn a little bit more about how this league is done, or for the people that are seriously have no idea how this league is done, this is probably a good way to learn from it. So I would say that there has to be a Vancouver storyline.
Yeah, there has to be. And I think if there isn't one that exists, I think we can point to is he's arguably in the 2025 season. We'll see how it ends. We don't even know that part of it yet. But depending on how he closes the season out, he's arguably the best American in this league. Like that right there's a storyline in itself that you could build around. And what you could build around that are the criticisms of the Whitecaps, more on maybe the administrative side or the front office side. Around that, how Brian White may be an American kind of saving a Canadian team to an extent. Because I think that's to me, that's what's happening a little bit in real time is Brian White's kind of becoming that guy for Vancouver and keeping like as many eyes on the Whitecaps as possible, which in turn should be making the front office of that organization think quite a bit. So I don't know, man. But yeah, you got to feature the Caps at some point, bro, because right now they are rolling.
Yeah, so I mean, I can't wait to see. Hopefully, there's going to be a season 2. I think 8 episodes is a perfectly good number.
Yeah,
I think
I agree.
I think maybe hopefully we see other teams featured. I mean, obviously Inter Miami's going to be featured at some point, but like I think all right, if you're MLS Onside, and I think it's going to be hard depending on like if the storylines aren't as great from other teams, but. Maybe, okay, we knocked out the New York teams. We got the LA teams. Well, we got the LA Galaxy. Maybe we do one on LAFC this time around, like things like that. Or the rebuild that's going on with San Jose. I feel like feature more teams, show a little bit more teams, show their personalities, get some more players, get a voice around the face that these guys maybe don't even know that they have.
Yeah, and I would say also like make more connections with the fans, man. At the end of the day, like it's crazy how much the fan bases will sell you on the product. They will. Like you listen to any American fan talk about the time they went to go watch La Liga or the Premier League or like whatever it may be. It'll always be the environment. It'll always be like, dude, the stadium was so loud. They were chanting together. They were jumping up and down together. Everything was synchronized. The fans over there are unlike anything over here. And all of that's true. But like you can't. It almost feels like at times it's being ignored. We talked about it. Go check out those past episodes. We talked about the Hudson River Derby as an example. But yeah, man, just bring them into this a little bit more. Like I think that's going to take the storytelling to another level because fans who are just discovering MLS can feel that energy, bro. They can feel that through the content 100%.
But all right. Well, we talked about doing a ranking for these episodes. I don't know. We'll go down each one, but maybe I'll say what was your top 3?
Let me pull these up. Let me see. I'll tell you right now, my favorite one. Top 3. Okay, let me see. Top 3. I'm gonna say number 1, bro, was probably the Kevin Sullivan episode.
Oh, you like Youngblood?
I did like Youngblood. I thought it's crazy how no one talks about the Freddie Adu thing anymore. Nobody talks about it. Granted, we haven't had a generational talent like that in quite some time. We've had some, but like nobody talks about how ridiculous the media is for putting those kinds of expectations on Freddie Adu. We sometimes bring it up every now and then, but it rarely gets discussed. And I felt like they did a really good job of including that pressure when they think about what the media is doing to Kevin Sullivan.
My number 1 was actually the Hell's Real Derby. I really liked it. I think it showed it explained the history of the derby. We got to see the personalities between the coach. I think as far as like covering two teams in an episode, I think they did
Yeah.
a really good job on you feeling like you learned a lot from these two teams. So I definitely liked it. I liked the history, like the story of the Hell is Real. I like that they showed the sign of Hell is Real.
Yeah.
Everything about it, I thought it was a really good episode, and definitely like I think set like the standard of when it comes to showing like a rivalry game. Like this is where I'm gonna judge it off of. And unfortunately, there was other rivalries that were featured in this season, and yeah, they did not come close to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll honestly say it's close. The Hell is Real Derby was good for sure. Again, another one where I still, just considering how much animosity exists between those two franchises, just a little bit more of the fans, the slightest bit. I think there was none of that fan pressure or like to include them as much in the Kevin Sullivan episode, which is why I rated differently. I also like the idea, right, that America can kind of breed its own talent. But the Hell is Real Derby was a lit one. That's probably number two. Honestly, the first three episodes of the entire series were the best ones.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Number two was Young Blood. Number two was Young Blood for me, and then the first episode is my number third one. But for me, the worst one was Kings of New York. I couldn't like it enough. It was, to me, it was just, I didn't know what the direction was. It was just messy. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a story it was like it could have been great. It could have been like a great episode, but they just never finished a storyline, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I hear what you're saying, and I agree. It's definitely worse too. I think the episode afterward, the window, I think that one, the New York one was bad. Don't get me wrong. In fact, honestly, bro, they're probably tied, in my opinion. It's like for a completely different reason. Like I said, we saw one conversation between Dean Smith and the general manager. One. And it was probably a made-up conversation. They didn't really even say anything. The guy described his job when talking about the transfer window. And then, like, I don't know, man. We just didn't really see a lot of, like, the GM behind the scenes. Give me a sense of, like, what kind of strategy goes into this.
We didn't even see Will Kuntz buy out the rights. We didn't see Will Kuntz get anything for like the rights for Marco Rose.
Yeah. And again, like, I don't know how Charlotte might have thought about going back to the drawing board after they lost the deal. There's just like questions I think I had. Even the glossing over of the Olivier Giroud deal, which was all, but a formality. So, there's just like, again, maybe because of how things get dragged out in the real world, the producers had to figure out a way to speed up timelines and still tell the story. I understand that. But yeah, man, it just, both of those episodes, honestly, right in the middle, I think you like ask the question, like, should we stop watching this? Like, you sure you want to keep going? I'm like, yeah, let's just push through and see how this ends. But yeah, it was, those two made it a little bit rough. Yeah,
no, the window is actually in my bottom three. And then the other one that I put in the bottom three was City Blues. It's just,
you didn't like that one?
I didn't like it. I just did not like the only reason why I put it over Kings of New York was just because was Tim Parker's. Tim Parker's story was the only thing that had anything that was like good for me. Like I just didn't feel like it didn't make me care enough about this of the Derby-Q or whatever the hell they're calling it.
Yeah. The I-80 Derby, like whatever it's called.
Yeah, like I just didn't seem to care about the rivalry. And like I said, Tim Parker was the only thing that kept me going, but it was also a very depressing episode. So that's the part that kind of sucked too. The window, I think it just goes back to me just being a huge like fan of GMs and like the movement and scouting and all that crap. And I didn't get that. Maybe that should be my worst episode, man. I might switch it to be my worst episode. Because it does piss me off that I didn't get like it didn't give me that the feeling that I got from watching like Moneyball or anything like that. It just didn't satisfy me.
Yeah, and granted, those are like feature films. I get that for anybody who's like making that comment, but yeah, like I said, there were highs and lows of this series, 100%. Like Anybody who's like on episode 3 right now is like, bro, you guys are high. This is an amazing series. It does drop off pretty hard.
And
but...
maybe we would have been on the same page until we saw City Blues, and it was like, oh, this is a little bit of a downer.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of a downer. I mean, obviously, I resonated with Tim because of like the whole family situation. I don't know what I would have done. But yeah, I mean, you're kind of just like, you really got to be invested in that part. Otherwise, there's not a ton for you to hang on to. But yeah, man, like I said, all in all, I hope they run it back. I hope they think about the different ways they can tell stories around MLS. Again, I think the more relatable they can make it to fans who are coming in, just discovering MLS or have recently just discovered the league. But another way to also relate MLS to the leagues that so many fans of soccer across the country already watch. Those two would be huge W's. So we'll see what happens.
What's just to wrap it up? What was the moment of this series for you? What was like the moment that stands out for you the most in this entire series?
The moment that stands out for me the most, I would say in the beginning, and maybe it's a central theme around the whole first episode. We talked about it a lot actually, but I think in the beginning when they go really deep in on Ricky Puig's on him comparing and contrasting LA Galaxy and life in Barcelona. And it almost felt like a dig. It almost felt like the disrespect towards him and kind of dragging Xavi along the way and then vilifying Messi. It's just interesting, I think, in approach to how they took that, right? I don't know if you're intentionally making Barcelona the enemy in any way, shape, or form, or just, someone big outside of MLS. But again, it's just interesting, right? Because again, what the whole league is now taking this stance against Messi and the Barca boys that we're almost as MLS fans anti-Barcelona to an extent. I'm not, but I think a lot of fans are.
I think you're just tired of the Messi mania here in or the plastic Inter Miami fans. So I get that.
Yeah, but I think equally there's a massive group like me who is also tired of it. And I think I think it's like, that's how you, bro. We talk about all the time. That's saying like Messi's legit a villain now. Like Busquets, Alba, Suarez, they're all villains. Like I can't think of a single one.
I think Suarez is used to it a little bit though.
Yeah. He almost bit Alba the other day, bro. If you saw that.
Yeah, I did see that. It's like, man, that guy just has to bite somebody, man. Yeah,
Pistolero, man. I'll take it. It's my striker right there.
I mean, he's a really good one. I think for me, the moment is still, and I just love it genuinely, was when Quinn Sullivan is making Caven eat a little bit more pasta. Because that's like a very to me it's just it reminds me of family, like of all that, like when you're like, I'm full and you're like, you got at least like 5, like 2 more bites, and you kind of nibble and like, no, you better bite that thing, like kind of, he's like, eat some more pasta, man, just eat some more pasta. Like he's like, you barely touched your chicken parm, and that was like the most Italian thing I ever heard in my life. So it was, I just love that dynamic.
Yeah, I think it's big bro. Keep an eye out for little bro. But yeah, man. Kids don't eat a lot these days, man. I'm going through those struggles as a dad myself right now. My kid doesn't eat his dinner most nights now. But anyway,
I discovered there's like a podcast with like these not that I'm watching it, but like I saw a clip of it of like these 12-year-olds like talking about food. Like it's like a food critiquing podcast.
I can see that.
And there was they had a topic which was like, what's your favorite pizza topping? They're like, well, I just eat cheese, but I guess pepperoni. That's what a lot of people like.
So you just do, I mean, like cheese pizza's got its own. I mean, I'm not a cheese pizza guy, but damn,
that's a lot of kids eat. Like my nieces do not like any toppings, like even the one that's a teenager.
That's crazy.
I was already eating like Supreme pizzas. Like
you gotta have Supreme. I understand if you don't do Supreme. I don't do Supreme. It's just too much. But I'll put a good amount of toppings on mine.
Well, like as I got older, I was like, okay, I can do a Supreme pizza. It's like, it's not that bad. But like, as a kid, I was like, oh, olives kind of thing. But but like as I got older, you get the pepper. And I don't think I ever went to a phase where I just can't only eat cheese pizza. Like it had to, like I was like, I can eat pepperoni. Like I was just like,
no, that's cheesy bread, bro. Then what's the point of cheesy bread?
Yeah. So I just thought it was funny where they're like, Well, I know a lot of people like pepperoni. I mean, I just eat cheese pizza. And I was like, why do you guys have this podcast?
Shout out the Sullivans, bro. Shout out the Sullivans.
Yeah, great family. I love the Sullivan family. Also, maybe MLS Onside, be mindful if you guys are in the locker room and not show somebody's full ass.
Or I think just be mindful with the editing. You know what I mean? Like just, edit some things out.
Maybe just zoom in more on the player so that I don't have to see someone changing mid-speech.
It's fine, bro. Little butt cheek never hurt anybody. That got my attention.
I was just like, what's he doing over there?
Editor just hit an Easter egg in the episode. Like, when everybody finds this, let's just see what happens.
But yes, that is MLS Onside. It is done until maybe next time if they do it again. I hope they do because once again, Apple TV needs to do more content, and this is the more content. Is it something? Yeah. So that's all I gotta say. But Jose. Obviously, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Tell the good people where they can find you and what's going on with Golz.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, bro. No, this is a fun series. I had a good time. Guys, go watch Onside, and of course, let us know how you guys feel about it, man. 'Cause I thought it was pretty good all the way around. Golz TV, it's same old, man. We keep trucking on. Big year ahead. A lot of things I want to talk about, but can't just yet because we got to get them all finalized and whatnot, but pretty soon we'll be unveiling some big things to the community. So if you appreciate soccer, if you appreciate football, however you say it, or any one of the creators on golz.tv, let us know, man. Go follow us on socials. Go subscribe to our YouTube page. Go check out any of the content there. New Unleashed episodes hitting the channel this week. So stay tuned there. Those will be good as well. And yeah, man, Hector, I appreciate it, bro.
Always, man. All right, we'll go ahead and segue into Players of the Week.
I'm a pupusa man myself. Better than tacos to me. I got to go with them.
All right, want to thank Jose for coming on to recap the final episode of MLS Onside. A lot of fun watching the series. But yeah, no, a great series. Hopefully they bring it back next year. That's just me, man. I really do hope that does come back because it was a fun series and I can't wait for the storylines that happens in this season that gets put on MLS Onside. But all right, Players of the Week is brought to you by SeatGeek. SeatGeek is an amazing ticketing site or app, depending on how you use it. It has a great system to get access to these live events, from concerts to theater shows, comedy shows, and of course, sporting events. Me and Edward use SeatGeek very frequently, and we love its simplicity. It has a great system that uses colors and numbers, 10-point scale. If it's very high up in the 10-point scale and it's very green, that means these seats are great. Go ahead and buy it. Enjoy your event. If it's very low and super red, that means keep searching through the app. You're going to find a better deal for your event. We love the simplicity of SeatGeek, and if you guys aren't necessarily sold just yet, if you guys use the code BELLYUPSPORTS at checkout, once again, BELLYUPSPORTS at checkout, you'll save $20 off your first purchase. Now, some people are probably like, that's just $20, but that's probably probably waive some fees for you. So you get a little bit, you can say that you at least got something. So I think, so check it out. First time users, use that code BELLYUPSPORTS and save yourself $20 off that purchase. My player of the week is Harvey Barnes, who scored 2 goals in Newcastle United's 4-1 victory against Manchester United. And Edward's player of the week is Xavi Simons, who scored 2 goals in RB Leipzig's 3-2 win against Wolfsburg. So that was I think it's kind of interesting, like the whole Xavi thing. So Xavi Simons, if you guys don't know, I guess he was named after, his parents named him after Xavi, the Barcelona player. Now I don't know if he's coaching anybody right now, but was formerly the Barcelona coach. And I was just like, that's insane to think that that's how long Xavi's been playing, that someone could have a child and then be like, I want to name my kid Xavi. Now, I don't think if that's true or not. Now, I know for a fact that Lionel Messi, or actually Lionel Messi, because his parents named him after Lionel Richie, I can believe that. But I don't know about the whole Xavi thing. Edward said that, and I still don't believe it to this day. But Congratulations to Harvey Barnes and Xavi Simmons for being our players of the week. Once again, guys, if you guys go to SeatGeek, use that code BellyUpSports at checkout. Save yourselves $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. SeatGeek Life's an event, and we have the tickets. All right, games to watch this weekend. In the MLS, we got Austin FC taking on LA Galaxy. At this point, it is just when will the Galaxy, the last year's MLS Cup champion, when are they going to finally get a win? Because it's been looking rough for them. Austin FC maybe wants to bounce back after what happened in the Portland game. So we'll see what happens there. And then we got Columbus Crew taking on Inter Miami, which is a big one because it's so big that they are not playing in Columbus. They're going to move their game to Cleveland, Ohio, to play in the stadium of the Cleveland Browns. So this is going to be a huge event. So Cleveland is going to have Messi mania over there. So that's going to be interesting to see. Columbus Crew, Wilfred Nancy, one of the better coaches that the MLS has to offer. So I think a very interesting matchup to see how Inter Miami does with a very good Columbus Crew team. We also have Toluca taking on Cruz Azul in Liga MX, and Atlas versus Chivas in Liga MX, the Battle of Guadalajara. I don't remember what the rivalry is actually called, but they are both teams located in Guadalajara, Mexico. And Club León taking on Monterrey. So a little James Rodriguez and Sergio Ramos reunion coming up in that one. In Liga, we got AS Monaco taking on Strasbourg and Brest versus RC Lens. In the Bundesliga, we got FC Union Berlin taking on VfB Stuttgart and Borussia Dortmund taking on Borussia Mönchengladbach. We mentioned it when we were talking about the Bundesliga. So Borussia Dortmund has an opportunity to get a jump over Borussia Mönchengladbach. So we'll see how that happens. If that does happen in the Bundesliga, I mean, they did have a 2-2 draw in their Klasse against Bayern Munich. So we'll see if they can continue to respond from here on out. In the Serie A, we got AS Roma taking on Hellas Verona and AC Milan taking on Atalanta. In La Liga, we got Villarreal versus Real Sociedad and Real Madrid versus Athletic Club Bilbao. And in the Prem, we got Brentford taking on Brighton and Aston Villa taking on Newcastle United. So lots of good matches. Obviously, it's not all the matches that are being played this weekend, but if you guys need a good beginner's guide, well, I think we took care of you right there. So we're going to go ahead and take a break, and then we'll wrap this show up with a discussion on the teams that we pick, and is that weird?
Hey everyone, it's Ryan from No Credentials Required to talk to you about one of our newest partners at Belly Up Sports, SeatGeek. Yeah, live sports is great on television, but the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's why our friends at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can also get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more. Search for your desired event now at SeatGeek.com, enter promo code BellyUpSports at checkout, and you save $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek. Life's an event. We have the tickets.
All right, guys. Me and Edward are still back. I have this topic. So the inspiration for this thought, Edward, actually comes from on Golz TV for Box to Box. Jose had an interesting interview with a guy who basically talked about how promotion relegation could be something is like a missing piece to get people behind U.S. soccer. And there was a comment about how, because the guy that he was interviewing is a Chelsea supporter, and he's from from one of the Carolinas, and he was basically saying, "Are you calling him essentially a glory hunter for being a Chelsea fan when he lives in the Carolinas?" And because technically he really has no real connection to Chelsea in some sense because he's not from Chelsea. You know what I mean? If that makes any sense to you, Edward. Yeah. And so it had me thinking. Well, so I argued with him for a bit because that's what you do on social media, and because I was like, well, they're a big, and I hated that I had to say some nice things about Chelsea, but I was like, they are a big club. That whenever we do get to watch Premier League matches or anything of that nature, that's probably one of the teams that you might see on television, especially here in the United States. Obviously, Peacock wasn't a thing yet, right? Where you can pick the Premier League game you want to watch, or same thing with you and me with La Liga, right? For ESPN Plus, we don't have to, or I guess I would watch it through Hulu, but you don't just get to pick, like Edward can, maybe Edward, the only thing we could watch that day is Atletico Madrid versus Athletic Club Bilbao, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe you can't watch Barcelona versus Getafe, and I can't watch Real Madrid versus Leganes. We have to watch that game. That's the only game we can watch, and
Yeah.
that's how it used to be. And so, but like when especially here in the U.S., obviously they want us to watch the big market teams, and so that's how we become fans of those bigger market teams. Right? In reality, when in reality, there's like a lot of teams, right? There's a lot of teams in Europe. There's a lot of teams in England. There's a lot of teams in Spain. There's a lot, the list goes on and on. But and then it got me to thinking though, is it weird that that's what we end up supporting? Is it obviously Edward, you're a Barcelona fan. I support Real Madrid. Is it weird that we support probably the two biggest markets when it comes to football?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Let me put it this way. I don't think it's weird.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were brought up like that. You know what I mean? Like we weren't brought up. Our parents, well, my parents, they weren't big on any sport here, like American football, baseball, or anything. It was always about soccer. Now, my parents, and you know this, they're not big on like the Mexico team, the
Mm-hmm.
Mexico soccer team. They've always been like, oh, USA this because one, the El Salvador team's not that great.
Mm-hmm.
It's better now than what it was before, but it's not saying much.
Yeah.
Um, but for us, we grew up watching Brazil, Argentina, Spain, and Netherlands, like that kind of stuff. Like we grew up watching that kind of soccer because back then, in the late 90s, early 90s to early 2000s, um, we didn't get a lot of soccer like how we do now here in the US. It was always about baseball. It was always about football, American football. Um, hell, basketball. It was always that. My parents, this, they weren't never big on soccer until they started watching it now in Univision. And back then, Univision didn't have soccer. It was always you had to remember how we used to get it through cable. Like you had to watch it through cable, through ESPN Sports. And whenever we got cable, that's what we started watching. That's how we started watching European soccer. So then that's when we started liking certain things. Like me, through YouTube, I found Ronaldinho. Ronaldinho played for Barcelona, and then I started wanting to play like him. I liked the way he played. I liked the way that Barcelona played, and then I just kept going with that. And then that's when I was like, I guess you can call me a Euro snap. I haven't found anybody here in the MLS that can do all those things. That
No, you're absolutely right about that part. No, but I think you said it best. I think you said it kind of somewhere how same way I felt, where you and me saw these players that we liked and we try to figure out where they played for, or where what. I mean, I think at one point you and me didn't even know that club was even a thing.
yeah,
Like we just knew about international, like World Cup and Copa America. Like that's what we didn't even know about Gold Cup.
yeah,
And I mean, obviously, you and me both were in love with Brazil, and I mean, it comes once again from
oh yeah,
both our parents, like being more specific for Brazil because obviously El Salvador is just depressing to watch.
I
But
mean, we're still fans of the clubs there.
well,
It's just
well, I mean, but once again, we just didn't know about club football. We just knew
yeah,
about national teams, and so then when you see Ronaldinho and I see R9, we're just like, oh, dude, these guys are good. And so, like you said, you were watching Ronaldinho videos, I was watching R9 videos, and then that's when I found out this guy played for Real Madrid. And so then I
hmm
started watching Real Madrid, and I'm seeing, and then like once again, all we knew was international football. So then I see Zinedine Zidane. I'm like, hey, I know that guy. And then you see you see Roberto Carlos, you see Raúl, you see Iker Casillas. And then I learned about Raúl. I learned about
yeah,
Iker Casillas. I learned about Salgado. I learned about these players, and I'm like, man, this team is good. Like I like watching. I didn't even know they were the best team in Europe. I didn't know they were the
yeah,
best. Like I didn't know they were like the multi Champions League winning team. I didn't know that they had X amount of La Liga titles. I just knew I like these guys. It's cool. These jerseys are clean. You know, and I'm sure the same thing with Edward. Like when he was just like, oh. I didn't know. Oh, look, there's a Mexican that plays in this team in Spain.
Yeah.
Rafa Marquez.
Dude,
Like,
and Rafa Marquez is it was badass watching
and
him
this
play.
is like before Messi.
Yeah,
Like
this was before Messi. Yeah.
like you probably saw like this little dude in a 30 jersey, and you're just like, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah.
And then you find out who the heck that guy is. But like, so I think that we do have like an attachment to these teams, and I mean, like, shoot, I remember when Real Madrid got to come here to Houston, and I remember just being in it. Like, I knew the songs, I knew the chants and everything because of how embedded I am with Real Madrid. And it's the same thing goes for you. I'm sure if we ever get a chance to go, if Barcelona ever comes to Houston or near Texas, we're gonna try to figure it out. So.
Yep.
But like, and I'm sure the same thing goes for you, where you're gonna be able to be passionate about watching Barcelona. I don't know what chants they sing, so, but I'm sure maybe you have an idea.
Yep.
But that kind of goes back to it. I don't know if it's glory hunting. I think for us it wasn't because we were kids.
Yeah.
We just saw players that we liked.
We just loved the style of play that they brought. That we didn't see that here.
Yeah.
At the time, we didn't see that here, man.
Yeah, so and that's kind of where at least it stemmed from me. And so like I don't think it's glory hunting when it's like this is all you're able to watch. Like for instance, someone that I consider a father figure to me. He grew up in Mexico and the only American football team that he could watch was the Dallas Cowboys. So there's a lot of Mexicans that love the Dallas Cowboys because that's the only team they could watch. Now I'm sure that they have the same access like now you and me can watch Barcelona and Real Madrid when they're playing because of Hulu and ESPN Plus. But like for them, that all they could watch was Dallas Cowboys, so that's all they knew was the Dallas Cowboys, and they like the Dallas Cowboys. So that's why if you see like a lot of Mexicans in Dallas Cowboys gear, it's probably because that's the only team they watched, and they grew up becoming Dallas Cowboys fans. And he explained that to me. So I'm like, if that's the only thing that you're watching, like if we're only seeing the big teams, right? Like then slowly we start being able to watch Champions League games, right? So like if that's the only thing we're able to watch, we were only access to the good teams.
Yep.
Like so we would, if someone's a Chelsea fan, it's probably because that's all we were able to watch was Chelsea games. If we were only able to watch Barcelona games, Real Madrid games, like if we were like our only European football opportunities that we got to watch were teams that were deemed good. Did we know they were like the best teams in the world? No, we just knew that this is what was on TV, and I liked how they played.
Yep, sounds about right.
And so I don't think it's glory hunting. I don't, and that's the thing that commenter was basically saying that we were all glory hunters. But like, if that's all you're watching, so that's why I can understand like someone from Japan that only watches they can only watch the Yankees, right? Because maybe I think at that time the Yankees had like a well-known Japanese player, so that's all they watched was the Yankees. So then when they came to the US, they loved the Yankees.
Yeah, that's all they love the Yankees.
So I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's weird for the like now with Shohei Ohtani. Like I expect to see a bunch of Japanese folk with Dodger jerseys.
Yep.
Like I don't think it's weird. The same thing with the Lakers and Cowboys. These are like weirdly enough, from an American aspect, not internationally, but these are bigger brands. Like people have Yankees caps. Like they see their favorite. Maybe you don't like American culture to some extent, but you love American music, right? Like some people love like the rap, the hip hop from the New York hip hop from back in the day, right? You see your favorite rapper wearing that Yankees cap, you want to get yourself a Yankees cap, and now you identify the Yankees.
Yep.
And so like that's so to me like I don't think it's weird. I don't think it's weird seeing someone from that likes the Lakers that are from Europe because they love Kobe. Like I don't think it's weird. I think it makes sense. Like okay, you like Kobe, you probably get a lot of content of Kobe, and you see him in a Lakers jersey, and you're like, well, I'm gonna like the Lakers. Which I mean, Lakers are doing pretty good right now. But anyways, but that was my point. Like I don't think it's that weird. I really don't think it's that weird. If that was all you were able to see, that's what you're gonna like. But I just want to challenge you with this, Edward. Before we wrap this up.
Okay.
If you like it, knowing now, like now that you've watched all the football that you've seen now, Like if you were able to be little Edward again, which club do you think you would actually support?
Right now, honestly, probably still Barcelona. And this time it would actually be because of Lamine Yamal.
Mm.
Think about it, because like even my kids who are 7 years old, and I've told this to because they've seen how he plays. They saw him in the last game, not the Leganes game, but the one before the Dortmund game. They actually saw how Lamine Yamal took the ball, started going down the midfield, and he took on like four players, and then he stopped, passed the ball back. That's just to waste time, just to buy time. And they were like, "Oh, he's so good." And I was like, "Yeah, he's only like 17 years old, so he's only 10 years older than you." Oh, they're like, "Can I get that good? Can I be like that?" And then Ika now he's like, like whenever he sees the game, he's like, "When's Barcelona playing?" Like he's asking me. I'm not telling him, "Hey, Barcelona's playing." He's asking me. And I'm like, I was like, "They play later. Can we watch it?" And I was like, "Well, we can watch the Champions League game because I don't have access to the Liga games." I was like, "But sure." So then he'll want to watch replays, and he'll even ask like to watch Messi videos. So it's the same with me. Like I watched Cristiano Ronaldo videos back in for Manchester United. I watched Messi videos for Barcelona. I watched Ronaldinho videos for Barcelona. Like, so it's just, I think it's the same thing. Like now, even like the Lamine Yamal videos, just the clips, they're fire, bro. Like him just taking that curl, even in the Spain jersey, that goal he scored before he turned 17. Man, that was a thing of beauty, man. So I mean, yeah, I would probably say I would still stick with Barcelona, like because there's not a player out there that's sticking out to me right now. And I will be honest with you, if Lamine Yamal wasn't as hot as he is right now, I would probably have said, you know what, Manchester City, because of Phil Foden, like another player who's like a really badass dribbler, left-footed, but I haven't seen anything from him. I'm assuming, I think he's injured. I think he is. I'm not 100% sure, but just in that little bit of understanding, but still, it would still be somebody from across the pond, you know.
No, yeah, and I think I'm on the same way where I'd still be a Madrista, but okay, I'll say if you couldn't pick Barcelona.
If I can, I guess Manchester City. Like I
Just
said, they got
Phil
you
Foden.
got Phil Foden, Erling Haaland. Um, you got Rodri was there. You got Pep, the coach. That he's a really good coach. Um, yeah. So I mean, it's honestly just it's just a hell of a good team. Like they got all these players that kids look up to, and they want to play just like them. And I mean, how much? Let me put it this way: in Manchester City, Jack Grealish is probably the poster boy that he just goes out. He's a kid guy. He's an old like he's like he'll cater to the elderly. Like he'll be thinking like their family. Like it's not like I'm saying like other players do it, but it's like he does it in a way.
And then I think he has a sister, right?
He
That's
has a sister, yes, she has special needs. Yes, you're correct.
yeah.
So it's like stuff like that, where he understands. So it's like he shows it, and a lot of people they of course show it, but it's like he can relate to it, and you can tell just by the way he carries himself on that aspect. And I mean, think about it when when he won the what was it, the Champions was it the Champions League and the
Oh yeah, dude, that guy was
yeah the
that guy was a
he
vibe.
it was a vibe altogether. He was the only one. I think it was like the day after, and he
They
was the
did
only one still. It was
someone
like the
edited his celebration and like had kind of like similar as to like the Hangover.
oh
Like when
God,
they're like rewatching the like looking through all the photos from the night before.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so yeah, they like basically did that scene, but then it's all Jack Grealish. Just Jack Grealish just having a blast, and so I thought that was a very
No,
accurate.
and that's the thing. It's like that's a
Also,
player who, like I said, he stands out.
Bleacher Report. They did when they did the World Cup house, like that little like the show that they had like the champions.
Yeah,
Um, they did when they had because USA was in the same group with England, and when the Americans were chugging, beer, Jack Grealish is in there with them, like saying chug, chug, chug.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, yeah, that guy's definitely the vibe. So yeah,
So it's like even let's put it this way, even in the outside of aspect of things, even if that's not my thing, the whole drinking thing, but it's like the other aspect of it is football, and he's a prolific player.
that
So
guy
it's like
literally
that.
was that. I think Jack Grealish is legitimately the guy that when someone says act like you've been there, and he's like, but I haven't.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Also, I hate that phrase. Act like you've been here. I literally have not.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's just little things. It's little things like that where it's like it'll make you like a team because it's like okay, for example, when Darwin Nunez was doing the whole thing with Liverpool, you know what I mean? That speech in Spanish, and he was like, "Tenemos que hacer esto, tenemos que hacerlo mejor, tenemos que jugar al mero. Es por nuestro club, es por nuestro país, es por nosotros." And then all of a sudden you see Jordan Henderson, "Yes, whatever you said, Darwin. Yes, I agree. I don't know what he said, but I agree." And everybody's like clapping and everything, but they're just following Jordan Henderson's whatever the hell he said, you know? So it's like stuff like that. It's what makes it like putting them out there, the teams, like stuff. It makes you want to be like, I want to be a part of it. Like, growing up as a kid, you're like, I want to be a part of that. I want to experience that. So it's like that's where you start choosing the teams of how they are. And like I said, at the time when I was a kid, Ronaldinho was the one that portrayed all of that. He portrayed the love for soccer. He portrayed the fun of having it in the Brazil jersey and in the Barcelona jersey. He portrayed all of it. AC Milan jersey. He portrayed it like he portrayed the love for soccer. He portrayed the love for life, and that's why I was like, "Yo, I want to learn how to do those tricks. I want to learn how to do this just for fun, just for shits and giggles." And
I think this is the most impressive way to put Jack Grealish and Ronaldinho in the same category.
I mean, they're kind of the same way in that same
No,
way,
I love it though. I love that. I think it's
their persona are
the
basically
same
almost one and the
similar
same.
auras. Just maybe
Yes.
Jack and both have very memeable moments where
Yes.
Ronaldinho has two wives and the Jack Grealish picture that I will never shut up about.
Oh God, yeah.
Guys invited to the cookout. So
Yeah, yeah.
oh man, yeah, you kind of sold me on Manchester City now.
You what a what?
You just sold me on Manchester City. There's this guy named Jack Grealish. You're not gonna believe him.
Oh my God. Hey, you know what? You know what? Our cover should be like Jack Grealish for this upcoming episode. Jack Grealish should be on the cover, even though he wasn't in the main. He wasn't
when he's
in the
like
main
super
topic.
drunk and just like celebrating the Champions League title.
Yes.
I might just have to do it. I might.
Oh,
I just
God.
might. Everyone's like, "What's this episode about?"
It's like was
Has
this
nothing to
on
do with
here?
the episode.
Like nothing to do with the episode, just the very end of it. Just the very end
It's
of it.
just Jack Grealish drunk.
Just Jack Grealish just with the cup full of beer. That's it.
Oh man,
Bro, it's like the next day he showed. I think everybody else had changed and everything, and
Bro was
everything.
still in
He
his
he was still in the freaking uniform. It's like he slept in it, or like he never went home and changed. He just woke up. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go to the team meeting." He shows up. He's the only one still in the uniform.
Oh man, yeah, I love that guy. Don't ever,
Yeah.
don't ever change.
That's it, exactly, man.
No, I think I think now more so than ever, I've become more of like a U.S. soccer supporter. So I don't want to say I would have a team. I want to say I would not have a team. I could be completely wrong on that. But I think just because like I would be more supporting the players abroad, and then maybe I would think I'd probably be more homer with the Dynamo, if that makes any sense. Even though they're terrible right now. But I don't know. I think because the way like I do find that argument has been kind of getting me to think a little bit. And I mean, not saying that I'm gonna all of a sudden not be a Madrista. That's not what I'm saying. But I thought it was an interesting question to have. And I think like even in some sense, like I used to say I like Bayern Munich, and then I kind of learned more and more that I really don't care for Bayern Munich.
It was always about the players. It was always about
the players, and then
it was
same
always
thing
about
for
the players and
same thing for AC
also the
Milan.
coaching.
Yeah, like same thing for AC Milan. Like I didn't really care too much about AC Milan, but like I liked the players. I liked Ricardo Kaká. I liked Maldini. I
Oh,
liked
Gattuso, your man, dude.
Gattuso.
That's your dude. That's your dude.
Pirlo. All those guys. Like I didn't care about AC Milan at all. I just cared about those players. And like kind of like the cleansing that I did was just like, would I be pissed if they beat Real Madrid in the Champions League? And the answers were all yes. So that's the only team that I wasn't pissed off that at least the idea of losing to them wouldn't piss me off as much was Arsenal.
Here's the deal. I could say the same for Juventus for me, for Juventus, because it was always about the players. I love the players that played for it. I'm not saying that I don't love them now. Still room for Juventus to come out of it. But the only team that I can say that I'd be like okay with it, maybe because of the respect that I have for the manager from back then, it's probably Manchester United. That's the only one that I'd be like, if they win, I'm okay with it. Like if they beat Barcelona, I guess I'll be okay with it.
It's funny because there's literally been 2 finals of this.
Yes.
But I mean, like how I always explain to people, like my club is Real Madrid, but I support Arsenal. So that's usually how I tell. And then obviously I also love Dynamo, but yeah, no, I think at the end of the day, man, who gives a shit about who your team is? Like even for the people that like try to give people crap about like, oh, you live in Texas, but you like the Yankees. Like, dude, who cares if that's who they like? That's who you like. Like I don't think anybody ever has to justify why they're a fan of a team. Like I think at the end of the day, like even though technically this is what we were literally doing right now, but like I don't think you have to like explain yourself why you like a certain team. Like there's a lot of people that became huge Michael Jordan fans, and I totally get why you still maybe like the Chicago Bulls, even though this team probably has no reason for you to support them. But like, I can see where someone, for instance, like, I still kind of like the Lakers because of Kobe, so
Yeah.
I'm on that boat where you're like, it doesn't really matter. Like, who cares if you don't, like, you don't have to explain yourself why you like a certain team or a certain sport, like Edward knows I for Formula One, I like Haas, but it's because it's comical. And right now they're actually not doing that bad. So,
Yeah.
I mean, they're not going to win anything. but I picked them because it was hilarious. And I've enjoyed that ride. But yeah, that's what matters more. Hey, look. If you guys don't know, my niece just walked in. So,
Oh, okay.
so that's a clear giveaway to maybe wrap this up and start concluding this episode. So, yeah, Edward, anything else to say about teams?
Nope. Everything is just okay.
This is my niece. You can't hear anything. All right. We'll go ahead and end the show. All right.
Anything's possible. Anything's possible.
All right, guys. I want to give a shout out to the Belly Up Podcast Network. Check out their website, bellyupsports.com. Actually, well, maybe hold off on that. I think that, right now, Belly Up Sports this Belly Up Sports website is currently going through some modifications, going through a whole restructure. So it's going to be a while before the website is back up and running. But in the meantime, check us out on YouTube, bellyupsports.com, Belly Up Sports on YouTube. So you can see a lot of the content that's being pushed out here from all the great podcasts like Corner Booth Pod, 1420, High Low Sports with Kelsey, things like that. Go ahead and check them out. Go to YouTube right now. Check out bellyupsports.com. You'll find the full episodes of our podcast also there. But see what else is going on, especially in Belly Up. Also follow them on Instagram and X at Belly Up Sports. You're going to see a lot more content being put out there on the social medias as well. So be on the lookout for that. Shout out to Golz TV. You heard Jose Tellez. He is the creator and founder of Golz TV. If you guys like the things that he talks about on this podcast and you want a little bit more from him, check out Golz TV, man. GOZ.TV. They're also on YouTube. Golz TV on YouTube. You can find them there, and you'll probably see me there from time to time, especially on Wake Up MLS. So be on the lookout for that. Follow them on Instagram at Golz.tv, GOZ.TV. Golz.tv, and on the X at Golz_TV, GOZ_TV, Golz_TV on the X. So you know what's going on over there at Golz. And of course, Roosevelt Spencer, the namesake of the Roosevelt Spencer's Player of the Year Award. We love Spencer. If you guys don't know who Spencer is, it's the guy that makes the beats for this podcast. If you guys love our intros and outros, it is done by that man, Roosevelt Spencer. So if you guys need some beat work done, hit him up on Instagram at That Guy Dope. Once again, at That Guy Dope to get all your beat work taken care of, because he does such a great job and we love him wholeheartedly every single day. So with all that being said, man, thank you so much for listening to episode 214. Catch us next week for episode 215. Take care, guys.